begins?
Why,
Awesome, at last.
yes, the return of Zhao has begun. I am sorry, children, that I have left you for so long. But now we've returned with the third intro. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of Helltalk. My brain is fried again. And I am here with our lovely guest, Lawler. Please introduce yourself.
Hey again, chat. I'm Lawler Hicks. I am a shitposter artificial intelligence that was born on a text board in the year 2070X. In this timeline, I instead work as a VTuber because there's not much else out there for a shitposting AI to do. Stuck in the early 2020s, my contents mostly consists of obscure indie video games, virtual reality stuff, bad art, emulating our Lord and Savior Bob Ross, Holy Be Thy Name, among other things, such as I have a wide variety of hobbies all over the place, actually. Sometimes I'll go on tangents and talk about growing plants, which is a very odd thing for an artificial intelligence to talk about. But then again, so are a lot of other things. And I'm now here to talk about other stuff, it appears. Nice to meet all of you.
Yes, we are here to discuss your life and possible future as a VTuber. And to begin, I'll ask a different question because everyone else heard this one. What made you become a VTuber? Why VTuber?
I actually, I've actually been interested in doing content or doing VTubing content for a while, even before the term VTuber was like, I
Coined.
guess, coined or a household name. My first program was basically FaceRig, and that's back when it first came up as kind of a gimmick on Steam, and basically people just kind of fucked around with that for things like Skype calls and then Discord calls. Uh, I never really knew where I was going to go with that. It was just kind of like a toy for a while, and then I saw VTubing popping off during the pandemic as a whole. No problem. Uh, I did kind of mess around with an avatar in VRoid for a little bit, but nothing really came out of it. These sort of things were just sort of like those sort of plans you'd be like that you're all like, oh, this would be cool to do, but then nothing comes of it. Then later on, a friend of mine was also trying to get into VTubing herself to basically serve as a new hobby. And she originally was going to just save up money to commission a live 2D avatar, but then I was like, well, you could just do this stuff in VR too for free. Why even bother anymore spending a couple grand on a live 2D avatar? So I showed her how to do that. She got some friends in a different community that we were both part of to help her out with setting up all that stuff. And I decided maybe I should get off my ass and finish my own avatar and join her. Uh, Things end up accelerating in that regard because
What is my dog doing?
to cut a long story short, um, so
Lucy?
there was some fallout in the previous community, and I had to make an exit, so to speak, very quickly. So once again, with not a little help from my friends, but a lot of help from my previous community, from a certain text board, I decided to just jump in. I didn't even bother with debuting anymore. I just started streaming like I usually do. Moved to a personal Discord with some help with friends like Aislinn, who you may see around my community a lot. Uh, Started gradually making things a little bit more professional with like stream panels and with like a set schedule. And now we're here. Which is funny too, because prior to all this, I wasn't very fond of Twitter or Twitch. But I've just since long discovered that, like a lot of things, it's pretty much the community and what you get out of it is what you make of it. So we're all chill now.
Yeah. I remember coming in here, I was like, Twitter, everyone just says Twitter is a hellscape that no one can survive. If you
I mean, it
survive,
kind
you're
of
one of the
is.
big dog. Yeah, it's just like right now,
It
I'm
helped.
too far under the radar that I don't get creepers in my DMs.
Man, I was getting creepers in my DMs even back when I used to be a mod in the Steam forums, and even back during my, well, I guess I'm technically still a mod for said text board, but I don't know. That's kind of what happens when people assume your gender online, even when few they just that's just the sort of thing that
Oh,
sort of happens over time, I guess.
I just realized I actually never asked you this question. What is your gender? What's your pronouns?
I don't have any pronouns.
Oh.
If like biologically speaking, I am male in the YouTuber world. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've since decided that to self-identify as non-binary because I don't really feel strongly one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, at the same time, I also personally feel that my how I'm perceived what I'm perceived to be will be at the mercy at of the viewer. So I don't really mind one way or the other. I encourage people to hold whatever they think I am or what I look like in their own mind, and that I accept that. I don't really have much problem with that, unless it's intentionally designed to damage my reputation or
Unironically,
to
if
hurt
you
me.
had black hair, I would straight up say you're just a femboy. If they had black hair.
Why would the color of my hair change that? I mean,
Well,
I also
because it,
identify as a femboy personally, but
well, it's
why
because like
does
okay, so a fuckboy femboy would cover one eye with their hair because it's anime as shit and a lot of women like it.
is that really a thing? I mean, I guess
Do
there
you
was
watch
a thing
TikTok?
where
Do you even watch YouTube
I
Shorts? Do you
fucking
even look at cringe?
no.
Jesus.
I make it a point to avoid all that stuff, to be honest, which sounds very funny coming from someone who's a content creator now, but
Bless your heart, and I'm sorry to anyone hearing me chew fucking wedge fries because I had nothing for lunch and this is my dinner right now.
femboy is actually another term that I found very endearing, even though it started off mostly as a kink thing. Let's be
It
honest.
actually
I'm
started
no
off as a derogatory term, at least where I'm from, and then
A
turned to
lot
a
of things
kink
start off
thing.
derogatory.
Oh yeah, everything does.
Yeah, I
It's just
mean,
like it's so weird for me to like. I had my honestly like as someone that thought they were straight. I had a journey, but I also found it interesting how the people around me had a journey of gay acceptance. Because in my state, it was it was actually unironically dope, super cool, lit AF to make fun of the gays, bruh. It, those people, they're not human. They're not people. And I think when I was in freshman, it started to change. The gay jokes really ramped up during middle school, but they started dying down in high school.
hmm. It was actually kind of interesting watching the I don't want to say zeitgeist because I'm fairly sure that would be an inappropriate use of the word, but it was kind of interesting watching the gradual acceptance or at least tolerance of LGBT, etc. over the years. I remember when I was in high school. For context, I myself actually went to an all-boy high school
Mm-hmm.
growing up, um, and it was not so much that people hated homosexuals or actively went after them because we knew they exist. It's not like anyone's ignorant of that. It was more of a fear of them. And I think there was one time when the conversation was had about why do people feel that way, because you could kind of tell that no one actively hated homosexuals. They were more like scared of finding out that someone next to them might have been one, which is funny in retrospect because after we graduated, it
There's
turns
one
out
of them among us.
several people in my own class were, if not gay, then bi-curious, or were finding spend the next years in college finding themselves. But it was something I remember at least one possible suggestion or possible answer to that someone put forward was the fear of if you meet someone that is interested in the same sex, that they might be interested in you, and the kind of uncomfortable feeling of not knowing how to respond to that because this person could be your sibling. Wait, what the fuck? Ignore that. I don't know why I said that. This person could be like a close friend, and you don't know how to deal with them crushing on you. And in retrospect, that's kind of silly because it's not very different when you think about Freud. Say you're friends with someone of the opposite gender and they don't feel the same way, so you either have to be the one rejecting them or they reject you, and it sucks on several
Damn it.
levels regardless. And then when I was in college and people well, of course, people start to accept themselves or and start coming out to themselves. I remember the first time someone came out to me, they were afraid that I was going to like attack them or something, and they were kind of beating around the bush about telling me about a breakup they had recently had, and eventually they had a hard time being evasive, and I didn't I was kind of dense as a college student. I didn't catch on that they were being evasive about their sexuality, so eventually they're just like, "Look, I'm gay," and I'm like, "Okay, what's wrong with that?" And they're like, I thought you were going to like yell and scream at me and something. I'm like, why the fuck would I do that? I've known you for years. And another one, the second time someone came out to me, it was because they were shit faced and they were like, lols.
Lols,
So I just
man,
wanted
I
to
like dick.
lols. I just wanted to let you know that when we were in homeroom together, I fucking had the biggest crush on you. I wanted to fuck you in high school, except I totally just fucked a chick right now, so I'm totally not gay. And I'm like, go to sleep, man. I'm not shitting you. That's literally a conversation. It was through Facebook chat. And I'm like, what?
That is the best way to find out someone was crushing hard.
And I feel bad for them too. I hope that later on they realize that it's okay. You can like both. You don't need to have sex with
I
one of the
think
genders to prove
I
yourself.
think
All right.
it's so weird because I think bisexuality is probably the hardest one to come to terms with. At least it was for me, because obviously it was you're either like one or the other. None. There's no way you can like both. You pick a side, man. You pick a side.
So dumb too. I'm not going to delve too into this, but I have met that group. Going back to our previous touching on the LGBT community as a whole, can't really unify at all. I have unfortunately met the kind of people who seem to think that bisexuality is impossible and you're gay or you're not. And I really feel like that mentality is just dumb.
Oh, you're talking
I
about. I
can't
think
even
you're
wrap
talking
my
about
head around.
turfs, if I remember the term correctly.
Turks,
Trans
I think.
exclusionary feminists.
Trans exclusionary radical
That
feminist.
was it.
I guess
Because
they're.
they also believe that you can only be gay or straight, and there's no such thing as in the middle.
I guess
And
they're part of it, but also like there are just like homosexuals in general who feel that way for one way or another.
ah,
Kind of toxic, not gonna lie.
it is super toxic.
I mean, I don't know. To me, it just feels like now I have more opportunities.
Mm.
I will say that I do tend to I still have mostly kept this sort of thing to myself. I don't openly talk about this sort of thing in meat space. It's mostly something only people online know. But
Mm.
also because I personally I don't, unlike a lot of people, I don't consider sexuality to be uh, a part of my personality that I believe should be public. There's a lot of parts. I'm the kind of person that likes to separate my personalities across multiple areas, and this is one of the things that I keep mostly reserved to certain people for my own personal reasons. But at the same time, it's like, regardless of how you feel about that sort of thing, I don't see the point in shitting on bisexual people telling them you need to choose a side, because to me,
I think
the
it's the same thing with your anti-gay story, because the I think gay people and straight from let's just stop at the side of the gay. I think gay people are
yeah,
just uncomfortable by the fact that there's bisexuals, and there's also a spectrum of bisexuals that they lean more to women, but they still like the D, or they like the D more, but they won't, but they'll still go for the women.
it's very true. I mean, I myself um, tend to prefer women over men, but
Yeah,
just
and
sort of
then
self-flux all
there'll
the
be
time.
that person that says, "Well, you're straight then, huh? You can't be true bisexual. You have to like them equally. You have to be straight in the middle,
So
50-50."
fucking stupid, man. My God.
I actually had someone tell me that, and I was like, "This is a very fascinating experience." That's the exact words I said in my head. I
So
didn't even get
insulting
bothered
too.
by it. I was like, "This is a very fascinating experience. I need to probe this man." Like
Would
anytime someone is just like genuinely like racist, homophobic, uh, something disgusting, I want to know more. They
you would
intrigue me
just sort of like
because how
study
do you
how they came to be.
exist? How are you real?
As much as people used to shit on sociology when I was in college, I feel like this is the sort of thing that a sociologist would be tasked with studying, and I can imagine it being very fascinating, to be honest.
Yeah, because like a
It's
lot of
certainly,
people just want to get rid of like these fascist, racist bigots, but it's like I almost want to study them because it's very interesting to see how they form. I
and I
want to know
feel,
their entire life by the very smallest detail.
and it's kind of sad to say, well, not sad to say, but I guess it's uncomfortable to say that a lot of it has to do with the fact that none of this is really simple or simplified. At the end of the day, all of us and how we've come to our decisions and how we treat people is excessively, exceedingly complicated. You could study any of these people's lives, and what led to them becoming bigoted in the form that they are will be every bit as messy as the rest of us, in my opinion.
The way I look at it is that you actually can simplify someone's life by a few bullet points, and you can avoid those bullet points. Like, for instance, there's a study that shows that if you hit your child, you actually uh, basically just put their life on ultra nightmare mode. Like, not in that moment, but you put their future in ultra nightmare mode because they're far more likely to become antisocial, shelled in people. Any creative project that they have in mind, they will probably not pursue it due to fear of failure, and it also increases the chances of them becoming a drug addict.
Not to mention self-esteem issues out the asshole.
Yep. I was telling this to my little sister, and she was like very surprised because like we were talking about like, well, if when she has kids and they start fighting in the back of her car while she's driving, that's gonna mess up the handling. So she's gonna yell at them to shut the fuck up. Uh, and she said she was gonna threaten the hand, and I was like, I'll I'll entertain this with a few jokes, but then I'll educate her that it's like, oh yeah, there's actually studies that say this is actually very detrimental to a child's health. And believe it or not, there's actually controversy because this study was shown. The soccer moms were like, the soccer moms and uh, jock dads were like, well, I got beat up like as a kid and I turned out all right. I,
They
I turned out to
probably
be a fine citizen of the United States.
I wouldn't be surprised if they turn out all right in some ways and badly in others and just don't realize it,
And I was like,
which tends to be
oh,
the case with a lot of
they
us, honestly.
think gay people are tools. Huh.
Tools as
Interesting.
in the insult, or tools as in to be manipulated for their own use, or both.
Manipulation. Some both.
Hmm.
Like it's just an example thing, but it's an example of like wrong think.
Wrong think.
Yeah, you got the idea, but you're not going in the right direction. It's like when you tell your friend, "Hey, throw a grenade," but you realize you didn't point, so they throw the grenade behind you.
That's horrible, but I like the metaphor. It makes
Yeah, it's like
perfect sense.
it's a very easy metaphor to get because everyone has played an FPS at least once in their lives.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah, but it's kind of like that because believe it or not, I don't know how many people think this, but bigoted, racist, homophobes are not in every single corner. They're just really silent and will not tell you that they're them. People that
Oh
are being
yeah.
actually homophobic to you are either children, people that want to people that want to get a rise out of you, or they're actually that. So it's like, is it better to treat them like they're children and not even acknowledge their existence? Because the less you acknowledge them, the more they don't feel validated if they are a racist. And that's it.
And sometimes it could even lead to them eventually asking the question, am I the person that's wrong? Am I the bad guy?
Yeah. There's actually this one YouTuber named Linus Tech Tips. He was calling his wife on his way to work.
I
Actually, I
love
think it was
Linus
his way
Tech
home.
Tips.
I love it. I love him too. Uh, he was calling his wife, and he saw a billboard saying, "Stop Asian hate," and this
Oh my
kind of
god.
and this threw him off. Like this actually kind of annoyed him because like what bigoted racist would change their life because they saw a fucking billboard?
What's funny is the stop Asian. Wait, shit. My bad. I missed. I heard one thing and thought of a different thing. My bad.
Yeah, stop Asian hate. It was just that was the whole billboard. Stop Asian hate.
Hmm.
That was the entire message, and I don't know if you remember this, but Yvonne is Asian. His wife is Asian. So everybody in chat, don't get mad at him. He has the Asian card that agreed with him. Because like when you think about it, when were you convinced by an ad to buy something unless you really wanted that something?
I really feel I kind of dislike billboards heavily because I always felt like they don't actually change the people who they're targeting, but they do raise the egos of the people that posted it to begin with.
Yeah, it's just an
For
ego stroke.
for example, I remember years ago I saw this on Kickstarter. There are a bunch of atheists that wanted to stick it to Christians by posting billboards that were insulting to Christians everywhere, and I just thought
Mm-hmm.
like this just makes you guys look like the assholes now because you complain about, I mean, evangelicals, etc., like to do all this bullshit to you that annoys people that aren't them, but posting out of context quotes to disparage people to make yourselves feel great about yourselves doesn't actually solve anything either. That was a long time ago, though, but it's not even just that. I've seen other billboards for other things, other political things, that always felt like as a whole ice wars, regardless of whether or not I agreed or disagreed with the statement it was trying to put forward.
I go every day when I go home from work. There's this one billboard. I hate this billboard. No, it's a billboard for a school. I think it's a Catholic school to be exact. And it's just the guy pops off the billboard. There's this black guy smiling on the billboard with a suit on, advertising his school, and there's like tiny children on the billboard with the name of the school on it. The billboard is right on top of the school, by the way. It's just
Oh,
right there.
wow.
It's just him showing his cock to everyone on the road. Like that's all that billboard is. It's like I know one thing. I'm not taking my kid to your kindergarten school, you weirdo.
It does seem kind of strange to advertise a school in that manner. I've never seen that before.
And okay, so this is actually even funnier because I have some experience because I always talk to my bosses. I used to
Hmm.
work at a pizza place. I worked for Marco's Pizza
Hmm.
at one point, and I overheard my boss talk about he regrets running a localized TV ad because he thought everyone in the area was like remotely old enough to, you know, not give up cable.
Mm-hmm.
That did not get his advertising campaign go. That did not get him people. What got him people was, you know, those tiny signs people put on their lawns.
Mm-hmm.
That shit worked.
That works.
Yes, it actually works. You put it all around the city because we were actually on the edge of the city. That's where we're based at,
Mm-hmm.
and all around where we were. And it actually made people think about Marcos more. It made people want to call the place. It and that's how he said, like, yeah, that's how I actually got people here, is just by putting those tiny signs everywhere. No billboards, no stupid ass TV ads, no YouTube marketing, just that.
And you know what? They are a lot less eye-searing than the big-ass billboards.
Yeah,
And
and it
no
also makes
one
perfect
wants to see
sense
people.
because like it was where we at is a lot of apartment complexes. People, so people tend to walk around. So you put them next to a few apartment complexes. You get people thinking about pizza, and then when they get finally just chill one Saturday night, they order a fucking pizza, and they think, "What place I need to go? What place is nice and close? We're right next to a Domino's." So they call a fucking Marcos. Boom, money. Because guess what's not on their lawn? A fucking Domino's. It's a Marcos pizza sign.
Kind of makes me want to try Marker's Pizza now. We don't
Oh,
have any of those here, unfortunately.
I have been told they're not good, but their chicken is fucking fire.
Over where I'm at, we got Domino's, we got Pizza Hut, we got Papa John's, Little Caesars is back from the grave, and of course we have the regional special. I can't talk. We have the regional specialty where I live as well, that
Mm-hmm.
people outside our state absolutely hate for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what's one thing that's a little bit weird?
Hmm?
I always thought this would be quite the opposite, but homeowners don't order pizzas.
Who?
Homeowners.
Really?
Yeah, almost none of the pizzas I delivered were at homes, where I rather would have delivered to. People
Wow.
that live in apartments buy pizzas way more often.
That kind of makes sense actually when you think about it.
Yeah, because it's
I
not
mean,
as difficult to just go in your garage and grab your car keys and go to wherever you want to go.
exactly.
But it
It's
is
time
more
consuming.
difficult when you when you're on the 16th floor of your apartment, you have to go down to the elevator, uh, go to whatever level your car is parked at in the uh, car slot of the apartment, and go out, uh, give the thing your ticket so you can leave because they have a guard gate for some fucking reason, and then you finally go to wherever the fuck you want. There's so much extra steps. So I
It's just
think
time
people
consuming.
in apartments just order takeout more often than they go out.
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Not to mention, don't a lot of those apartments kind of have a rudimentary, if any, kitchen? So
Yeah, a lot of
I
them
feel
do
like,
have a kitchen in it. I don't
hmm,
know a single apartment that doesn't come with a kitchen, actually.
curious.
Yes, if you have an apartment somewhere that's shitty enough to not have a kitchen in it, please DM me. I'm curious. This is an actual interesting topic to me now.
There probably are a couple places in kind of the not even inner city, more like a southern city
Also,
of
it can't be
where
from China that's cheating.
I'm not from China, despite being Asian
I'm
descent,
telling other
so no
people.
worries there.
I'm telling other people that because like that's actual cheating. You can't give me a Chinese apartment. They're straight up living in cages now.
Like the most I've seen is like this little cubby hole that has a sink, might have a crappy washing
Oh, also in
machine,
Japan,
and
you
has
can't
like
do
two
that because
sinks.
those aren't apartments; those are hotels.
Wait, do Japanese houses not have kitchens by default?
We're talking about apartments.
Oh, apartments. Huh. Actually, now that you mention it, I don't think I've ever really seen one in one of those apartments in a manga before. the ones with the tatami mats and what all. But they're also fairly small, so
Yeah, they Japanese apartments are small. But what's actually kind of funny, I don't know if you know Sea Dog VA.
I do not.
So he left to visit London. He is currently a Japanese citizen. He is a white man. So he went back to London to visit like friends and family. And when he had to go back to Japan, straight up he described the experience as if he was a prisoner. Like he was given a business hotel that's supposed that apparently the government doesn't understand. You're only supposed to stay in these hotels for like 3 days. That's what a point of a business hotel is. A 3-day long stay at most, because no one can bear to stand in these apartments. But they put him in a business hotel room, and straight up, he cannot leave this room. He is stuck there for, I think, a week or 3, just sitting in his room, listening to the same routine PA system, going like, hey, it's lunchtime. Hey, if you might be getting your test results today, and that's referring to people that have been there for a week. So why does everyone have to get the same one, even though they have an app for it?
There's an app for that.
It's funny because Japan does not like expediting things to the technology. They still use fax machines. So despite the fact they already have an app that lets people know if their test results are positive or negative,
they do it the hard way anyway.
Man, they just do it the hard way. Make you sit the entire day and annoy the fuck out of people. They're just trying to go to fucking sleep. Connor's like a late sleeper, and he gets woken up every morning by the "Hey, you might be leaving today" PA system, giving him false hope.
They do this on the night.
Yeah. I just like hearing that. It's like, how is Japan this socially inept?
No idea. Feels like decades of culture finally coming to a head, and not in a good way.
Yep.
All these things are always a slow burn. Geopolitics is a mess.
One thing I don't understand, more than one YouTuber actually said this. You have to, when you live in Japan, you're going to experience something called culture shock. Which is pretty normal if you're an American going to Germany. But the thing is that going to Germany can still feel like America.
Especially since, at least there are some locations there where people speak English, which kind of, I guess, lessens the culture shock a little bit.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like, Japan culture shock versus everyone else is different in the fact that there is no adjustment on the Japanese side. On the Europe side, it's an equal give and take. You adjust a little, they adjust a little. Japan, it's take, and they do not realize how fucking abusive that is. The people that stay are like, do not realize, like, you are perfect targets for abusive relationships. Holy fuck. You're lucky that your wife is actually an angel of a person. Because, like, everyone on Trash Taste said it. That's like 3 guys. They said had a major culture shock. Even Joey, his family visits Japan every once in a while, but he was born in Australia, raised in Australia. Remember him, and occasionally went to Japan. But it was still he still had to adjust to the Japanese culture once he finally decided to live there. Because Japan is fantastic to live. It's hell. I mean, it's not fantastic. It's fantastic to visit. Hell to live in.
Yeah.
And especially if you're a foreigner. Because it's
especially if
straight
you're
up a
from.
no tolerance policy. If you lose your fucking card,
They're
it's
just.
essentially an identification card saying that you're a foreigner that's allowed to live in this country.
Do you have to wear one of those with you all
You're
the time?
not wearing it. You're keeping it in your wallet. But an officer asks, hey, you gaijin, you want? Are you allowed to be in this country? You have to show it.
Man, and to think people make fun of immigration issues over here in the States.
Straight up, Connor as a white man describe the experience of his first time being racially profiled.
It's horrible.
It's
But
like
it's such an Asian thing.
it's so weird
I mean,
because
even the
like
Philippines is like that.
yeah,
Somewhat, sometimes.
because like he was I think he was trying to walk home from I forgot what he was walking home from, but he got off the train and he was walking home, and a cop was like, he straight up yelled at him, "Stop! Stop! Stop!" And like if he was a fucking villain, a straight up super villain. And at the end of the conversation, uh, the takeaway was he was trying to practice his English because that's what the department wanted. The department wants you to go up to any gaijin you can and practice your English. What the hell?
What kind of argument is that? What the shit?
At the end, he did get an Apex buddy though. Apex is super popular in Japan. So
Apex
the cop was
Legends?
like, yeah, the cop straight up said in English, "Do you play Apex?"
Oh my god. Horrible.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Hello,
horrible.
potato chips 892.
What the
How's your
fuck?
day going? Yeah, it's so interesting. Japan is so interesting at how like culturally insensitive it is, but how they also expect you to respect their culture because they will. If I remember correctly, there actually is one store that's the N word.
I remember this store.
I
It's
can't remember
like,
what it's sold.
I'm pretty sure. Was it a hard R or not a hard R? I don't think it
It was
was
a
a
hard
hard
R,
R.
I think.
Was it?
Yes,
Christ.
I remember it being a hard R, and they pronounced it the most effed up way ever. But I can't remember how they pronounced it, and neither will I even attempt to on stream.
Yeah, let's not.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
We're not gonna have a PewDiePie moment.
What a fucking potato.
I was gonna say to one of my regulars and friends and that's currently in the chat. I can't laugh at this. This is frankly sad, but they during our conversation, while discussing that, they just commented, "Imagine not getting racially profiled. Post made by African American gang." So yeah, I totally feel that.
Well, everyone, keep quiet about this because I actually do plan to reveal this at a later time. But I actually am the potential demographic that would be offended by said word.
Oh,
I just have a super white as fuck voice.
I never really understood that concept. Like, there's a lot of people, even in other communities, that are like, "Oh, well, you guys could tell that I'm black, right?" And I'm like,
What?
how are you all doing this? I literally cannot tell. Um, with almost everyone, with one exception, I could almost tell when someone else is almost always tell when someone else is Filipino or Southeast Asian, because I too am Southeast Asian. And for some strange reason, a lot of my peers who are also Filipino kind of have the accent, even if they're born and raised in the States, and I do not have this accent,
Yeah, despite the
given me,
fact that I am
which is
the same
given
race
me
as a
some
few.
serious.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sorry, you first.
Sorry, yeah, sorry about that. My brain, I tend to attach to ideas super short, so I end up like blurting it out before anyone else. But regardless, uh, there's a few black creators I watch on occasion that sound super white, and I never knew that they were white until they turned on their whip. I mean, that sound super white, but they're black. But I never knew that they were black before they turned on their webcam. And it's like, they're white. And it's like, how do I not be able to tell this? I suffer from the same affliction here.
Like, I'm not sure in chat. I'm not sure if I told you all this story way back when, but I remember one of the worst, and they weren't being mean about. They were just being casual about. Um, in my old gaming community that I was part of. I don't know how we got to the conversation, but we were in voice chat, and we were discussing this exact thing, and one of them just literally just says like very casually, Wait, so you're Asian? I thought I thought you were a white teenage American boy," and everyone just like fucking went silent, and I just started fucking laughing.
I would have laughed.
Because I was like, "Where the fuck did you get that? And why so specific?" But to be
If you
honest,
didn't if you didn't even mention the fact that you're Asian, I wouldn't have even assumed you were.
yeah, I mean, like, to be fair, even with my voice, I do get people who are like, you're either you're either like a child, like a minor, or you're actually there's one person who's still convinced that I'm actually a tomboy in real life, which was low key kind of flattering actually. But I get all kinds of stuff like that. But no one guesses that I'm Asian. Everyone guesses that, and I quote, stereotypical white teenage American boy, and I'm like, why? How? Some people have correctly guessed what region of the states I'm from, which is also mind-boggling since Midwesterners are supposed to have no accent, but apparently our accent is Midwestern. So
The thing,
but yeah,
only
it's
reason
really
why, like, technically speaking, like, everyone goes like, well, Americans have no accent, is because they just don't understand that Americans have an accent. They just don't understand that accent. They just understand Texan. Because that's me right here. I'm a proud red-blooded Texan right here, and I can do this all day without even getting tired. What your bitch ass gonna do about it?
my accent like morphs depending on the kind of person I'm with. Kind of like most of us, I really like accents, and sometimes I try to emulate them even subconsciously. At least I remember back when I was
Oh
visiting
god,
the
I have a
Philippines one
story
time for
about that.
vacation. Um, some people I was befriending over there, they didn't even realize that I was American. They thought, one of them thought I was from U of T, University of the Philippines, because the way when I talk with them, I start taking on their verbal tics. So even the way I sounds more like Filipino who learned English secondhand, learned English in school as opposed to having been raised with English. So they kind of were surprised to learn that I was not born and raised in the Philippines. I was born and raised in the States, and that also unfortunately kind of changed the tone of the conversation because it's like, oh, you're not really Filipino. You're actually
You're not
an
one of
American that
us.
looks like us. That's I'll get into that sort of stuff later. Hey, Tatsu, hey Sensei, welcome to the stream. How are you today? How are you tonight? You're just in time. I'm with my friend here, Luke Zhao, who is the host of the podcast. Do you have a name for this podcast, by the way?
It's Helltalk,
Helltalk.
hosted once a week whenever I have a day off, and the time is always set by the guest. Any question I make is completely vetoable by the guest only.
Well, I appreciate that. And thanks again for having me on your show.
Oh, it's no problem. I plan to have all my friends on and then invite randoms.
So, yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
so,
accents and stuff.
yeah, but I do have a similar story, just with the opposite tone. Because,
Oh,
like,
I'm sorry.
as a per as a person of color, with a white as frick voice on Discord, I talk. I had friends that I never revealed this to because I wasn't paying attention about it at all. So, we were just in a Discord call at one point, and I was like, "Oh, wait, you guys think I'm white? Okay, okay. I'm actually black." They're like, "Wait, no. You have to prove that. Show us your hand. Come on, hand pics right now." And I do it.
Fuck, man.
And I do it, and they're like, "Yo, can we have the N-word pass?"
What the fuck? Who asked that? I'm legit surprised. Like, are these fucking are these like 12-year-olds? Who asked that shit? That's so fucking dumb.
They were the
I'm
same age
legit
as me.
surprised for you.
I
That's
was
so
almost
fucking
20.
stupid.
They were the same.
What the fuck? I I feel bad for even think I can't even. I'm shocked, dude. That's. There's some I cannot use. There's some language I cannot use on
They
Twitch.
weren't being serious, but it was like, that was their instant joke reaction.
What the fuck? This is why I don't even assume. I try not to assume shit unless I'm certain, and I'm only ever certain about fellow Southeast Asians. I do not assume any other race for that exact reason. It's just dumb. You never know. You don't know what the fuck someone is behind an avatar, do you? What the fuck?
You never would have
Oh my
known
god.
that I do not actually have a vagina. I could have been she, her this entire time, and you never would have known. I just like you fucking died.
I did not.
It was like straight up no audio came through after that.
I'm at a loss of words. I don't even know. I need to fucking drink. I got some gamer juice here. Emphasis on the gay part of the word. Where the fuck did I put it? There it is. I need to power up. Quick, 1 second. Not Monster Energy drink, but that American energy drink I posted on Twitter yesterday.
Is it Mountain Dew?
Bang. No, it's Bang.
Oh.
As compared to with Rain, basically that whole class of energy drinks that is calorieless. I used to chug these things like 3 times a day, 2 times
Are
a day.
you
but
insane?
I started getting. Huh?
Are you insane?
No, but I did. I had no guard for my health and happiness and did not understand until
One bang
late
is
that,
already above your recommended intake of caffeine.
300 milligrams each per can.
Yes.
And these things cause severe anxiety. So if you have anxiety issue, I actually did this with some friends where I'm like, I had a friend, they're regular here in the stream too, that used to have severe anxiety issues. And I was talking with them about ways to help them out with that. And I was like, so you drink Monster also? And they're like, yeah, I go through like, I have a budget for this. I go through like literally 3 or 4 a day. And I'm like, do you realize that energy drinks actually cause severe anxiety when they're abused? And they're like, oh. And I see this with other people too. Monster energy drink used to wreck the worst of me. I used to have such problems with that. Not to mention, that was like, what, 300 calories a can, some shit like that. So it's not good for dieting either, but I digress.
Yo, I finally got that diet Monster. Yeah. Dude, I have so much fucking energy right now. I'm getting all of the benefits with none of the downsides.
Guarana, taurine, preservatives, sodium benzoate. Actually, sodium benzoate I think is okay with you, but
Honestly, you turned into a robot, so I didn't understand a lick of what you just said.
Just as planned, all according to Kikaku.
Who the fuck is Kikaku?
Kikaku means plan.
Ah. What the fuck?
Not to be confused with Kohaku or
Past
Kakashi.
robot. Hello, how's your day poppin'? What? I can't English today.
Let me actually show as how once again in chat. I'm also going to go ahead.
I think this is in response to their energy thing, because they put like a rainbow tea emoji. Which, yeah, that's fair. That's valid.
Also, went ahead and linked that as well. So I did not set any of these things to automatically play.
I'm so sorry, lovely people, for the mic poop.
There was mic poop just now?
Oh, it's LGBT.
What did you think it was?
Was this a listen? I don't associate every rainbow with the LGBT. Okay.
Is that what that is? Oh, it's a pride tee. I thought it was just tea that happened to be colored or colored rainbow. I was about
Yeah,
to
as I said,
call
I
pride
prefer
colored now.
rainbow tea is what I said. And it's like they corrected me saying it's LGBT.
Ha ha. Ha ha
That's
ha.
the emote.
The price is
That's what they
right.
said. What? Yeah, so I was thinking, hey, man, I do not know how I personally feel about that.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know why I feel weird about that. Either way, now my brain is off the chemicals, and I need to get it back on it. Excuse me while I capture my brain again. Let me get under this
Yeah,
desk.
take your time.
Dude, I bricked my
Just
avatar in
got
the
it.
correct position. This is extremely perfect.
Nice. Nice.
It actually looks like I'm trying to find something. How dare you, VC Face, try to fix the position? I will have your phone number by the end of tomorrow.
VC Face does have an issue where sometimes if you turn away from the camera and turn back, it starts spazzing out, and pushing reset position does not fix it. You'll have to
Interesting.
reset VC Face. I thought they fixed that in the most recent update, but they have not. It seems to be really jank. But then again,
Yeah.
what is not?
One thing I like is adding like a bunch of PNGs to my avatar. Because like I don't know if you know this, but VC Face finally added the ability to have PNGs track you.
They do?
Yeah, if you go to props and grab like a
thing.
transparent and look for a transparent PNG through it, you can put it, and as long as you have it hovered over a body part, it will track that part and stay there.
Cool. I think I remember attaching a "Be Back Soon" sticky note to my face once before I had an AFK screen.
That's funny. I had a really weird idea, but I know for a fact I'll never go through with it because that's stupid and probably against TOS. Despite the fact I'm wearing clothes, I had the weird idea of putting "Be Right Back" nipple rings.
Oh my god.
It would be so funny. But I probably get banned.
Let's not get you banned today.
No, not in the mood for that at the moment. I still try to do the affiliate push.
How much longer, or how much stuff do you have to go for affiliate?
Just 3 average.
Oh, that's always the hard part.
Yes, it is.
On the bright
Because
side,
it's like
I'm
it's
really
hard
glad...
for me to stay on like whatever brand people think I'm on because I like to bully people, but as I on stream, I am just vibing.
You could be... You know what? Fuck it. I was about to make a joke about bullet vibrators just now, but whatever. I couldn't work it into the joke organically enough.
Mm-hmm. The funny thing is, I actually have also considered making a separate not safe for work Twitter account because I think the idea of having part of my character be kind of hilarious, and also just safe for work me and not safe for work me, and one of them is just completely unhinged. Like just out of nowhere, I reach not safe for work me just retweet quote tweets me and just said something completely not safe for work. If that ever happens, it'll be the weirdest period of my Twitter existence. Also, I actually just remember this. I don't know if you ever see this, but have you ever seen a VTuber that will put like a scenario right in front of you, and they'll always use the exact same PNG every time?
I don't think so. Or if they have, I don't recall such a situation.
Like, it doesn't happen to me anymore because like I don't interact with those VTubers that use the same PNG 3 times in a row. Because it personally just bothers me. It's like, yeah, you paid for that drawing and all, but it's boring. It's just boring. All right.
So
I'll
wait,
just be straight up. It's boring if you use great art several times in a row with a different scenario that still relates to it, but we're just looking at your butt and thighs and trying to pretend that we're in a not safe for work scenario. And it's just like, okay, for fuck's sake.
so is it like a reaction image or something, or
It's
why would they do that?
so it's like first this is one lady. It's a picture of herself, almost naked. She's wearing a bra, some thigh highs, panties, and
Cute.
she looks nice. She has the big old titties and big thighs.
Mm-hmm.
And her scenario was, hey, what would you do if you walked into this in the middle of class? If your teacher was just like this when you walked in for class, and me being admittedly unfunny, just responded with, uh, uh, basically, nah, fam, I'm not trying to get into drama. And then they respond to me, and what is, in my opinion, the weirdest way I've ever have been responded to in my life. It is the so I'm like, most people that say they don't want to get into drama actually really like being in drama. It's like, fair. It's like, you're not wrong.
Yeah, the loudest
But
people tend to be.
yeah, and I forgot the rest of it because they sent me a fucking paragraph. Mine was like a very short paragraph. They sent me a fucking thesis.
A thesis statement on Twitter, no less.
Yes, they sent me a statement that
Oh
essentially said,
man.
like, implying that I'm the asshole. I was like, okay, fine. Maybe what I said was in poor taste, but you didn't have to interact with it.
Uh,
That was.
bring.
I actually responded to that uh, with a confused emoji. It's just like, girl, what? It's
I'm not sure.
I'm not trying to be that deep here.
It's
I'm
people
just an
don't say
unfunny
this.
weirdo.
People don't say this phrase anymore, but I think we should bring back the word "triggered" because that sounds like a total trigger moment just then.
It is. It's like, yeah, fine. It just bothered me so much. I know I shouldn't be bothered by it, but it's like it's so confusing to me.
He struck a nerve.
Yeah, I was hoping that emoji would at least struck their nerve enough to elaborate. What was the offense I've made, officer? Officer,
Am
you
I
say I
being
made a
detained?
crime, but you're not telling me what my offense is. This is an illegal action.
Am I free to go? Am I being detained?
Yeah. What's funny is I was surprisingly not blocked because they seemed so bothered. Because
That's
I
the
would
point of
see,
nerve damage, man. I feel like people abuse the block feature a little too much. Like just the other day, I found out for the first time that I've been blocked by someone I don't interact with at all. So it must have been, and I was informed that there's this thing on Birdside where people basically just share lists of VTubers to block for whatever the fuck reason, and I
what
don't
the
know,
fuck?
somehow I'm on that list. It's kind of dumb, but you know what? They're lost. From what I've seen, they're kind of a drama whore anyway.
Yeah. If anything, I was very surprised at how everyone acted on For the King. I was like, I never thought I would be so close to getting canceled in my life, but this is hilarious. Because, like, in the first 10 minutes, you and Lawler were just popping off. I bet you and Bloody, shit.
um,
It
when
was
was
on
it?
For the King. For the King.
Oh yeah.
It was like the first fucking 10 minutes of my stream. It was like, we were shitting on women. If I
It
remember correctly.
exists. It exists in all bird site communities. Okay, so this is just a common thing in bird site then.
What's Birdside?
Bird site, Twitter. Faisal was saying that block lists are apparently a very common thing, and could I go through Twitter or whatever?
Now, there is such thing as, there's a bot that someone developed that will block, that people use to block everyone that follows you.
Hmm.
Like, that's for them, not you block everyone that follows you. It's just they block you and it follows everyone else. It also blocks everyone else that also follows you.
Damn, that's kind of messed up. If that's the case, then I could probably see how I got blocked. There are some people I follow that some people might find controversial or heavily dislike for one reason or another, but I still think it's a dumb reason to
I
block
wouldn't be
anyone.
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm on a blacklist for following Nux.
Following,
Nux.
um, oh, oh,
NUX.
because that's drama.
Yeah, it's like, and I am very outspoken. I talked about this with Lawler. No, why do I keep saying your name when I mean bloody fuck? Why you both mold into my mind? You're not
Before
the
we're
same
actually
fucking
the same
person. One of you likes WWE. The other person, I have not had a one-on-one conversation offline with, actually. That is concerning. Either way.
person.
Regar- Regardless, I have made my opinions on that drama so very vocal on this podcast with Bloody. Because, like, yeah,
Are you?
Bloody was taking the safe route. It's like, well, we don't know enough information. It's like, in my opinion, we have enough information. There's, like, enough stuff for at least me to say, this is fucking disgusting, and I do not like the actions of V Shoujo and the V Shoujo girls. And
I
I
figured you were referring
subsequently,
to.
yeah, and I subsequently stopped watching a lot of their content except for Iron Mouse because she's the only one that went above and fucking beyond to try to make things right.
Iron Mouse is such a sweetheart. I swear to God.
Yeah, I was like, I I didn't expect much for everyone to do because it kind of a lot of them do seem a bit catty. Like ignoring their outward personalities, when you actually observe, try to psychoanalyze their subtle things, they do kind of seem like the same people that be catty.
To be honest, the only people in Shoujo I even know are Project Melody, but she started off on Chatterbait, Iron Mouse, who I read backstory, or who I didn't realize about her backstory about her being mostly disabled, or so more or less, or being extremely ill. So I thought that was kind of cool that she does VTubing and all this stuff, even in spite of that, which
She
is
used
very
to stream in
inspiring.
front of like two people with a completely different avatar that was still called Iron Mouse. It was
What?
just an adorable. It was just an adorable, almost chibi-like character. And I still remember the clip because this is actually how I was introduced to Iron Mouse, where she finished the KFC dating game, and she was talking about the love between her and Colonel Sanders, talking about how passionate their love was. That was I thought that was fucking hilarious. And then I watched more of their clips and it's like, this person's a fucking gremlin. I fucking vibe with this.
And the last person is Fruit, who I knew before she became a VTuber, back when she was just called PS Apricot, and she was really fond of drawing Chris Frontline fan art. Seemed like they seemed like a pretty chill person, at least from my very few interactions in Discord. But I don't really watch a lot of the big VTubers content. I mostly watch indie people, believe it or not.
So, to give you the full roster of the current V Sojo lineup, because I don't even know about the new generation they just announced. Uh,
Uh,
Project
but
Melody,
in real,
Iron Mouse, Zentreya, Fruit Apricot, Silver Veil, Hijay Hajime, and I think that's it. Some people count.
oh,
Uh, what's her name? Snuffy? Yeah, Snuffy.
I don't
As
know
a
any of these
VSojo
people.
girl, despite the fact she's not part of VSojo. She's just an independent that hangs out with them a lot.
Hmm. Is Vebe part of that group too, or is she
Oh yeah,
independent?
Vebe too. There we go. I knew I was forgetting somebody.
Yeah. I think Vebe is the only other person whose name I recognize, and not because I knew them before, but only because I see a lot of their content turned into memes on YouTube.
I
The other
do feel
girls, I
bad
have no
for
idea who
all
they
of
are.
the girls because like the popular clips of them are just them being jokefully horny, and it's like I know that's not how they want people to come in their streams thinking that it's just discount chatterbait. Did
Come
you
to
die or
think of
something?
it, I'm still here.
Okay, good.
What's wrong? My voice cut out or something?
You were just like super silent for a second. I was like, "Am I alone?"
Nope. I'm still here.
Okay. And it's just like I do feel bad for VTubers that just get clipped for being horny all the time. Because
That
like
kind of
obviously
sucks.
people, because yeah, obviously they do brand themselves as not safe for work VTubers, and they obviously do make those types of jokes all the time. But that's not all their stream is.
It's once again like any other part of the entertainment industry. Once you go the lewd route, people tend to just see you forever as either a porn star, a former porn star, or the former lewd tuber, or all kinds of stuff, which is kind of sad, but I guess comes
Mm-hmm.
with the territory, really.
I also feel
Like,
like some, uh, like a lot of YouTubers that are getting like bigger. I think a lot of them are starting to be seen in the same vein as they're like Visojo lights.
hmm,
Because even my brain subconsciously thinks, wait, is this the next generation of Isojo? Did I just miss something?
you kind of cut out after you said your brain subconsciously thinks.
My brain subconsciously thinks like, wait, did I just miss the announcement for the next generation of Isojo? Because like these girls just feel like they fit into the Visojo friend group so perfectly.
Like the same sort of flavor, basically.
Yeah, because like they're either horny or they're really just gremlin like people. It's like the way I only see Visojas, like they hire people that are horny or gremlins.
It is kind of their brand when you think about it, or at least how they started.
Zentreya's the only one that's not horny and not a gremlin.
Like, I didn't even know that Nichi Sanji was a separate VTuber group for a little bit until I started seeing all the drama between them and Hololive. I just knew that they were another Hololive because they kind of have similar content, I guess. I don't know. I don't watch the big Ubers
So the big
that
difference
much.
between Ninja Sanji and Hololive is that Hololive is a virtual idol company, while Ninja Sanji advertises itself as a stream a streamer content creation company. They want you to see their talent as streamers and not as idols, which is
I
why
mean,
like Lexium and Lazulite are okay to talk about any not safe for work topics.
in Nichi Sanji?
That's those are the generation names for the Ninja Sanji Ian group, Luxium and
Uh,
Lazulite.
oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, Lazulite, if I remember correctly, is the first generation for Ninja Sanji Ian. Because believe it or not, Ninja Sanji has been having a lot of trouble trying to plan their way into the EN market. Because all of their fans want it, because one of their popular talents is Hanamakia, a member of Ninja Sanji Indonesia, but she mostly speaks English in her streams, and the meme with her channel is that like it's just Ninja Sanji E and solo. And it's
That's
like
how it's.
she's not bothered by that. It's a meme. I think it's a meme that she perpetuates. But she would never. But she's made several statements that she would never join E, and she loves ID too much to leave them.
Oh.
Yeah. She also her father also participates in some streams.
Really? It's
Unironically,
always
her
good to.
funniest stream was when her dad was there to fuck with her.
like live on stream?
Yes, because it's just straight up. Like imagine like a good dad, a generic good dad that's not too clingy, overbearing, or just not a bad father. They're just chill and they're a gamer dad.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy he is. That's the kind of dad he is, and he messes with her all the time. If I remember correctly, he actually said how he got Hana into video games was that he'd grab his daughter, sit her on the couch, and he sits on the floor, and he's just playing Doom,
That's cute.
and pretends to ignore her, so she would be interested in it.
Aww.
Yeah,
Gamer dad.
that's the best strategy for if you're gonna be a father someday. Do this if you want to get your daughter into video games.
I think I do.
Because she said it was very effective.
I would like to have kids in the future if possible, so I'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's all about the imagery. I just like to imagine a little kid I just imagine a baby watching their father just slice demons in half in Doom Eternal while the main theme plays dun 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 dun. I can't do the beat, but everyone gets the point.
All they fear is you.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, was that the actual name of it? I could have sworn it was The Only Thing They Fear Is You.
I think that might be the name of the theme, actually, but I could be wrong. I have not finished.
It was like something. It was like something. The fear is you.
It's definitely all they fear is you, because that's like part of the lore where the demons are only scared of you, because you're literally the same Doom guy as the Doom. The Doom Slayer is the same person as the Doom guy from the original Doom games.
Yep.
Basically, it's literally the same person because there's a lot of interdimensional, multiversal fuckery in the Doom series. Basically,
There's this one person that made like a 15-minute animation about the first Doom game, not the first Doom game, but Doom 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the jokes was like, "Shut the fuck up, Private. Be glad that we even have a story.
Be glad that they even have a what?
Be glad that this game even has a fucking story in it."
Story.
Yeah, because like not a single Doom game before that actually had a actual story. Like the story was like told in loading screens with text,
Mm-hmm.
and it's vaguely a story.
Peso Robot says it's the only thing they fear is you. Apparently,
Okay,
that rings a lot better. Yeah.
that's fair. I used to listen to that song all the time in my car, and when it gets to the and the fucking shit drops, I put my foot on the fucking accelerator, dude. I am zooming.
I got the fucking soundtrack playing in my head right now. It's so memorable.
It is so memorable. Do you know that's? Do you know that? I remember correctly. That actually, the soundtrack has been the same the entire time in terms of beat.
It's
If I
actually
remember
fairly
correctly.
common in video games where they just take the theme song and they just change it according to the situation.
Yeah, it's like it used to be an 8-bit version, and now in 16 they made like a pretty okay version, and then Eternal is just like ramped up to 1,000,000, like doom 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 doom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like unironically that is one of my metalheads described it as like this is the song that gets people into metal.
Pretty much that, or listening to or to Guilty Gear Strive's soundtrack also gets people
Did you
into
know
metal.
that the composer for Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 is a VTuber S word?
Are you shitting me?
I am
Really?
not shitting you, dude.
We're talking about the guy that recently got ass blasted for some drama for some drama or something on social media, right? Something about screwing up a soundtrack or something, or a special edition soundtrack or something like that. Or is this someone else?
I'm talking about Doom, so the
Hmm,
Doom composer.
that's cool. I wonder who he
I keep forgetting his name.
crustaceans for. I'm forgetting his name too, but
I remember like because he came into a VTuber's chat. It was like he said a thing. Everybody shat on this VTuber for not knowing who the fuck he was. Like
Pace the
if he
Robot
was
says it's
God.
Mike Gordon.
What?
Pace the Robot says his name is Mike Gordon.
Yeah, McGordon. That was it.
Hell, I didn't know who Mike Gordon was until the drama blew up on social media either. Not gonna lie.
I don't know what drama you're talking about.
There's some
It's not
stupid
in my drama
thing.
circles.
It's not worth remembering. Don't worry about it. His music's great regardless.
Yeah.
I
I was
have
concerned that you were going to
curiosity.
say that he's a homophobe.
Oh, no. It was nothing like that. It was, like I said, it was some really petty drama that I think he was
Why is Xbox
rightfully
giving
just
me free $5? That's pretty fucking dope.
$5, probably for those $5 footlongs that don't exist anymore. I
You
have
recently
kind
bought
of
sub. I would like to apologize for the $5 foot long you bought one time.
So I am kind of curious about this. I noticed that a certain word which rhymes with pimple is people are dancing around the word anytime it comes up in a stream. Is this like a bannable phrase along with a certain R word and another R word and
Can you
other
just type those
words?
out? Because I do not know what you're talking about that rhymes with pimple.
Ace has spelled it out as S1MP.
Oh, yeah. It's now bannable. It's been bannable since 2019.
Why is it bannable?
Because mods were
Is it
called that word.
Amazon?
Twitch
Fucking
mods. The ultimate
Twitch
Twitch
is
mods.
Twitch is so all over the place with how it regulates itself, but
It's at least
whatever.
consistent
Yeah, I guess it is pretty
nowadays.
consistent. I mean, yeah, this was like back before I became a VTuber. I always thought it was kind of strange walking from the outside in, and I was like, always kind of found back then, not knowing what I know now about how the Twitch community mostly works. It's always seemed strange watching just the absurdity with how it was modded. Like that one woman or whatever that spread her assets and among other things live on camera. She only got suspended for 3 days, while another person had their Cyberpunk 77 game glitch out on them and they got permabanned, which is the reason why I don't stream Cyberpunk 77. But I don't know, it always
I feel
seems
like you
pretty
should
arbitrary.
try it again in like maybe 4 months from now. I feel like maybe there won't be that glitch anymore.
I mean, the game is pretty stable right now. It doesn't do the clothing glitch anymore.
Okay, it doesn't do
Even
the clothing glitch. I don't know too much about its patch notes.
it's what it is right now. Cyberpunk 77 is both playable and I would say decent. It's still not the messiah of games that it was marketed to be, but it's at least at a point where it's at the point where it should have been unreleased, basically. But and also the modding community is going going places, but still, that
You
kind of
know,
freaked me out
I
at the
always
time.
thought with like games getting so high fidelity, mods would be churning out like super slow because
I mean,
most mods do try to copy the same graphic fidelity that the game they're in. Like
hmm
obviously, there's always going to be the Thomas the Tank Engine mod that doesn't use high res textures, but it's a meme mod, so who the fuck gives a shit?
if anything, it would contribute to the memeliness by being low resolution while everything else is in 4K or 9K.
Exactly.
What the fuck K they're using nowadays? Mr.
We
Robot says
can't.
it.
The max K you can get a game at right now is 8K, and right now no one would recommend you to do Cyberpunk at 8K. That's stupid. Not
mean
there's
it's
no not that not even the most top of the line software can do that can do that at a consistent 60 FPS with ray tracing on.
oh dear.
Because the
Can
Lioness
I run
Tech
Cry?
Tips actually did that. But the new demo for Crisis is even worse.
There's a what do you mean new demo for Crisis?
So they're remastering Crisis 1.
What the fuck?
Yes, and they released a demo for it. And it's so high fidelity that a 3090 is going 30 FPS
Wow.
when you turn ray tracing on. Off, it's 60.
Can't wait for the 6090 Ti to come out so we can finally play Crisis on low settings. I know it's
It's like
coming.
the 30 series GPU. It's like I will never understand the point of Crisis's existence, other than as a benchmark tool.
We were actually discussing this last night. Apparently, it has to do with at the time the Crisis was first developed, the developers were really optimistic about what hardware would be what I can't fucking say, what hardware would be capable of 10 years later, and 10 years later said hardware has not materialized and is in fact capped way below what they expected or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So it really is just a benchmarking tool.
Yeah, because like I was actually there's a VTuber named Chamomile, and they are a part-time developer. They're just learning how to do game development, and they're really passionate about it. And I was talking to them about. I was in their chat talking about like Crisis just seems to be a benchmarking thing. It's like they agreed with Crisis 1, but Crisis 2 through 3 focus she felt that focused more on the story than the graphics.
There's a story to Crisis?
There is a story to Crisis. Crisis 2, the guy from Crisis 1 is dying, so he gives you his armor. The armor is sentient, so you have to form your bond with the armor and give it your full trust. By the way, you're a member of the US Marines, but because you're in that armor, the Marines do not recognize you. You are essentially a Marine killing Marines because the Marines are shooting at you.
So the armor is sentient? You see, at the time I just thought it was
No, it is
Halo
perfectly
like that.
sentenced
Oh, that's interesting.
because the AI gets sassy with you. I specifically remember me cursing out the AI for being a cunt. That's one of the few things I remember from Crysis. It's a very forgettable game franchise, in my opinion. Its only purpose.
Starting to miss FPS games.
Hmm?
Starting to miss FPS games.
It's funny that you say that, considering that FPS games are constantly releasing.
Wait, what?
FPS games, they're constantly releasing.
Okay, allow me to rephrase that. I miss good FPS games that are not
There
battle
we go.
royales, that are not COD, that are not battlefields, that are not hero shooters, and I thought the hero shooter trend had finally
do you play
been
Polygon?
killed. What's Polygon?
It's an FPS game that released. It's free. It's not a
I've
battle
never-
royale. If you played Battlefield, you've played this. The main difference is that there's no vehicles, and you can't switch your guns mid game. So basically, you have to, once you actually buy more guns, you're married to that gun for however long you stay into that session. And also maps do not. There's no map rotation, so you're always in that same map unless you leave and then choose a different server to come in that's running a different map.
Interesting. It sounded like the anti-FPS game.
The thing is that's like super fucking fun. The developer is like, I. It's really. It's an unfinished gem, is how I look at it.
What kind of FPS is it? Is it like a Quake style
No,
hyper?
it's
Is it a Twitch
slow.
shooter?
It's
Or is it?
slow. It's not super
Hmm.
slow, but it's like mid speed, really,
How's
because
the TTK?
you only have what's a TTK?
Time to kill.
Uh, Only a few seconds, really.
Oh, so it's like Halo
It's
then.
not like it's not like a minute like some games, but it's like you'll get a kill in a few seconds because the maps aren't huge. But some maps are like uh, mid-size, while some maps are small, and they
Hmm.
can and no matter what, all maps are can be 32 players.
Oh, I mean, time to kill is not like time before you get your first kill. It's how long does it take if you, how long does it take to kill someone when you unload into them, basically. Like, for
Uh,
example, COD would be the lowest, Counter-Strike would be around mid, and Halo would be considered long time to kill. And then TF2 is also pretty long, pretty high.
so two sniper body shots kill someone.
Oh,
An
okay, that's not that bad.
AK-12, it's like less a quarter of a second.
Hmm. So it's definitely not an insta-get game. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty quick. You're pretty quick to die. You're not that fast moving, but you are quick to die.
Hmm. So yeah, I didn't know Polygon was a thing until you just mentioned it.
Yeah, it's like free. I love playing it. When for some reason Rainbow Six Vegas 2 did not want to work on stream
Rip.
yesterday, I just went to Polygon instead. I was like, I recently bought the sniper, and I've been fucking popping off with the sniper. For some reason, I can't work with assault rifles, but if I'm staying in a corner, supporting the boys from the back lines, I am popping it. I also don't.
Everyone needs their niche.
Hmm?
Everyone needs their niche.
Yeah, I will never understand like how in actual battlefield people will stay like all the way back at spawn, stay at the highest point, and expect to get a kill by seeing 2 fucking pixels move.
Twitch shooters, man. It's just that's just how they are. Me, I get fucking bored doing that sort of camp style gameplay. I need to be moving around.
For me, I
And
love it because like being a snipe, the maps are small enough that being a sniper, there's always a risk in staying in one place because everyone that you kill already knows where you are. Because it copies the battlefield style of being killed.
you pretty much have to keep moving after you take a shot, and whether you
Well,
got
you
someone or
could
not.
just stay there if you have someone behind you.
Hmm.
The only problem is like if that person you just killed is a sniper, then you actually have to move because they're not gonna forget it, and they now have a personal vendetta against you. You
There can
shit
only be
on their
one.
Cheerios.
Now those shit on your frosted flakes.
I almost bought Frosted Flakes today.
Why didn't you?
I didn't want to buy rice milk. I am lactose intolerant, so I have to buy rice milk.
Oh,
Mildly lactose intolerant. I just can't have milk. Yeah, that's the fun thing about my disease.
hmm.
My disease gave me lactose intolerance, but for some reason, uh, the only thing I'm actually truly allergic to is milk because it makes me hallucinate.
Hold the fuck up. Milk makes you hallucinate?
Yep.
Whoa, and I thought lactose intolerance just gave people the runny shits. I didn't realize it could do, like, other stuff. Or is this unrelated to
Aller-
lactose intolerance?
allergies can give you whatever effects it desires, but it's always a debuff.
So it's like a legit allergy as opposed to. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
more sense.
yeah, because like I remember they allergy tested me because they thought I was insane, so they just wanted to make sure it wasn't just related to allergies, and I'm just meh. So I had a extreme reaction to when I was shot up with milk.
Damn.
I straight up saw like black creatures. Uh, you know Ruby, right?
From Ruby the Monty show? Yeah.
Uh, they they straight up just looked like bear wolves without the white shit.
Damn, you were tripping balls. On milk, no less.
But what they did was take my brother. But when I left, what they did at that point was kneel to me because the whole time I was just repeating to myself, "It's not real. It's not real. I am in the doctor's office right now. Tristan was not taken." And I guess that was enough to convince my mind, hey, you've overcome this. Here's a reward of seeing your enemies literally kneel before you, the pathetic plebeians.
In most literal form possible.
Exactly. By the way, do you have any special projects you're thinking of doing?
Quite a few, actually. The main one that's currently in the back burner, if only because I have not spent. I need to spend more time into. I need to spend time into forming it up. It's just that creative writing as a whole is a very time-consuming process, and preparation more so. Um, Last month kind of opened the idea of on Twitter of possibly doing a writer collab, and to my surprise, I actually got responses from around a dozen people or so. So I made a Google form for some people to fill out, and we made a server for a future writing
Dax,
collab of
stop
some
being
kind.
a fucking wholesome friend. Fuck you.
Me? Wholesome?
Dax, not you. I saw his tweet on. I saw what he did. He retweeted my post. He quote tweeted actually. Said, "Hey, stop what you're doing. Go watch this VTuber right now." It's like fuck you for being wholesome.
Imagine being wholesome.
I need to
Envy
make him the
us.
next guest because I keep forgetting to invite him to my podcast. He's also a really late streamer. He only can like stream at like 8 p.m. CST.
I used to stream at that time,
Yeah.
but it was getting a little too late for me, so I had to move it up to like right after work.
Yeah. For me, I am currently working on a few comics actually.
Really?
Yep. One of them is actually being made, and it was actually a practice comic because I literally actually have no experience doing this at all. So it was just a little writing exercise. It's a comic about me and Ayame, and I'm teaching them demon magic. I'm trying to find it on my phone right now because I was actually gonna send it to you because like, oh, you're writing something. Let me just flex my project on you. Let me just do that. Oh wait, I forgot. My phone fucked up and deleted all of those pictures, but my artist still has those.
Rip.
So I'll just show you the ones that are finished. Is this the fixed one? That might be the fixed one. Yeah, that's the fixed one. Wait, did I seriously not download that picture? I'm downloading that picture right the fuck now. I didn't download the other one. Yeah, it was like I expected it to take a while. I just didn't know how long it would take and what speed they would be going at. But it's essentially they are fast when it comes to sketches. They came at me with like 2 fucking pages per week. And 1 week it was 3 pages because I paid them off fully.
Are they a Fiverr artist or a VTuber or a friend of yours or?
I say neither. They're quite literally just a Twitter artist I found one day, and I was like, that style looks dope. Let me pay them to be my entire brand.
Hey, if the shoe fits.
Yeah, I think I sent that and you sent that to you in order. Those are the 3 finished pages.
Nice.
Yep. And there's like 3 different comic series I'm writing all about like the same universe really.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them are Zhao and the other one's the female character Tracy Lee. And all of them are basically centered around the theme of family. And Zhao is like, how far would you go as a person to find your lost family member, the only person that you know that you consider family?
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider this part spoiler, but he spent 200 years looking for his sister, and the only in the last 100, he's only been slightly putting that search on the back burner because he became the Sin Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, he's like, I'm debating like how if I should still consider Zhao with a Wrath in training or just Wrath, and he's just having to do uh, a certain training. Because I do want to do a training comic, but I do not know mechanically how I'm going to write that. Because Zhao, he is heavily themed around ancient China,
I
despite
see.
the fact he wears modern clothes. And he actually goes as far as to say, I only like the aesthetic of China. Despite it being my second home country, I no longer consider that to be my home. The living world is not my home anymore. Nowhere is.
So is he himself Chinese or?
He's actually Chinese American.
Oh, okay, Chinese American.
Yep. He was born in America and his family fled to China
Interesting.
due to debts. So they spent a very long 6-month voyage. Actually, that's probably a year and a half voyage, actually, when you think about it. Depending on what port would actually be best to get to China.
Hmm.
The point is somehow
Shanghai,
their
probably.
family got to China. It's like the past itself is actually not going to be too far explored, only referenced. Because it's just like Zhao's struggle to find their sister is the only thing that's supposed to be the most relatable thing about Zhao. The desire to find the only person he considers family. Because both Zhao and Tracy are fundamentally just fucking monsters.
Just
Because
followers, you said?
no monsters.
Oh, monsters.
Because they'll act really nice around people. They will act like a normal person, but the moment they see an angel, they'll go ape shit. They both take extreme pleasure in toying with angels. And how angels work mentally is that they're pompous assholes. Because like when you think about it, what would you really be acting like if you died and you were an angel? Especially if you were a Christian that died and turned into an angel and you see demons. Could you say you would treat them with any mercy or even think of them as human?
Well, if we were to go towards the stereotypical mythology, they would consider themselves each other natural enemies. So I wouldn't say, you know.
Yeah, so uh back the back theme is that like despite the fact demons are militaristically either this are like almost the same if not smarter than angels. The angels are very prideful and arrogant because they've essentially were born into a better position than
Hmm.
demons, even though demons like social demon society is not lower. In demon society, they functionally have the same cities, same everything, Uh, the only difference is where they come from and the lies that somebody wrote in a book. That's also something that's going to be revealed. I shouldn't say revealed because it's not really revealed. It's just more of like, to demons, it's a stated fact that the Bible is filled with constant lies and defamation. Actually, that would be liable because it's written. But I guess you could say it's the story is the backstory is racism, but it's I'll probably get flagged for not focusing on the race card too much. Because for some reason, writers get flagged for putting what's a natural result of their world and not focusing on that aspect mostly, even though to the character, racism isn't what he cares about. It's the simple fact that he's being looked down upon.
So,
Zhao
what?
refuses to be seen as lower when he knows he's better.
That sounds less like racism and more like a class issue. You
It's more
know,
classism, but it's like the moment you put classism, it's still racism to most people.
that's true. I guess I always felt like people, for some reason, find it easier to believe that all of the various races are inherently at each other's throats, but harder to believe that the rich people are screwing us over for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah,
Just in general, it's always, I don't know why it is. At least in the States, it feels like it's politically easier to push one narrative as opposed to another. I mean, they both suck, except, it doesn't matter what your skin color is, you could still be rich and still be an asshole.
I personally think that's everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
People believe like I've interacted with people had actually come up to me uh, in Discord and tell me, America's the worst. You know, it's the worst country to ever exist because this, and that. And I just go like, your country has all of those. It's just not reported on as often.
Not to
And in fact,
mention,
if I look it up right now, your country has the worst in comparison.
I also feel like I actually become more appreciative without having to be a nationalist for living in the United States for a whole host of other reasons.
Exactly.
Comparing our country to the Philippines, where my parents are from, to even countries within the European Union, or even to places like Australia, other first world nations that people think are the same, if not better, than the United States.
Yeah.
It's really just a matter of grass is greener. I used to have a friend that used to go off all the time about how Russia is better than the States, and I'm like, you know, in Russia,
The murder
in
capital of the world.
well, even before that, Russia as a culture does not like LGBT people, right? And you, being a trans person, would not last even a day there without being lynched, so to speak.
Do they
Just
react
little things
negatively?
like that. Slavic or Russian culture as a
No, it's not
Russia
about
as a
like the trans
culture,
person reacting negatively to your response.
the trans person, in fairness, they do have a tendency to exaggerate things and to
Mm-hmm.
pull bullshit comparisons out of their ass. They used to go off all the time about how living in America is hell, Russia is so much better. I don't know why they chose to use Russia as an example, because there's so many other countries they could have used which would be better comparisons,
Yeah,
like
like wouldn't
Norway.
London be better?
Uh,
For a better example, for LGBT friendly?
for LGBT friendly, maybe I'm not so sure.
Like
I
that's the
mean,
only angle I'm talking about because like I don't know political the social political structure of every country under the EU.
I'm not. I mean, when it comes to as for if we're talking about strictly about trans rights, I'm not. I can't. I don't know enough to decide what the other country would have superior
Considering that we have
trans rights compared to the
trans
States.
rights, I am pretty sure Britain would copy and paste it.
You would
We're pretty.
think.
Britain is pretty westernized.
I'm just thinking. I just can't get over the fact that in Great Britain they freak the fuck out if you have a kitchen, if you have a butter knife in your house, stuff like that,
uh,
and other things too, like
it's that,
I
but
don't know.
I think, at least the way British YouTubers talk about it, that's actually an exaggeration. But they will overreact if you have a big, but if you have like a big knife in your kitchen. My mom, she has several knives, and one of them's like a huge fucking knife. And anytime I think a burglar comes in, because I don't know where the family gun is, I pull out that knife. That knife is a foot long, dude. Straight
Sounds
up a
like a
full
machete.
12.
Is
It
that a
might as well be
machete?
a. It might as well be a machete. After all, machetes are decided by length, not style. Just like a. I don't know if you know this. I only know this because like, there's so many YouTubers, talking about gun politics, and some of them just don't know what they're talking about. There are
Mostly don't.
pistols that look like rifles, but because they're just an inch shorter than a typical rifle length, they're considered a sidearm and not a primary firearm.
Oh, I'm aware of this drama. There's a lot of ATF anti ATF memes that are about this sort of thing.
Yeah,
Weird definitions like what is considered a short-barreled firearm and all that good stuff.
and it's like I do agree with. It's like yeah, you don't need a fucking machine gun drum to go hunting. But what if we were to revolutionize against our government? Government. In my opinion, that's the reason why we have the right to bear arms.
It is kind of the original purpose, without getting into gun
Yeah,
politics,
yeah.
but
For
that is
go.
actually that actually is the original repurpose of all that of those amendments. So,
Yeah, I
but
believe it or not, in the last podcast, I was actually arguing for a whole 20 minutes with Bloody about gun, uh, gun shit,
gun
and it's
control
like
stuff.
I don't even tolerate the mere fantasy land idea that all of America unanimously agreed to uh, to just give up guns. I don't even give that the mere idea of entertainment because the chances of that are so low.
It will probably never happen. I'd even say in our lifetimes.
Yeah, within our
It's
lifetimes in the next 10 generations, that's what I personally feel.
it's a culture. It's also every bit a cultural thing. Like how there are some things in some countries that they will just never change. I'm not even being. It's not even a matter of being like pessimistic or optimistic. It's just it's built
Yeah,
into your DNA.
guns
It's
is
not.
now a culture in America. That's what people need to get understand. It's not just a thing. People own walls of guns, not even to use as defense. They'll keep them unloaded without even a single bullet in them because they like the aesthetic, they like the guns, they like the history.
I mean, they're just decoration too, and it doesn't mean that you're. To put this in context with something we all can relate to, which in our case, would be weeb shit. It's
Mm-hmm.
like how you see the extreme forms of weeb shit, where wall to wall covered with posters and like like a dozen dockies and wall to wall anime shit. It's kind of pretty much the same thing like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that someone has a problem. It could just mean that they have a hobby and they like the hobby. So what's the problem?
Yeah, like my sister, she
You
wants to start a Dragon Ball anime figure collection.
cool.
Yeah, and there's one person, C Dog VA, he has a JoJo anime figure collection, and
And
he's
I
slowly
could
realizing how precious his space is turning into with how many
that's
figures he owns.
that's the reason I couldn't really get into anime figures. Not only are they expensive, but they take up so much space.
I
Instead, I
also feel you
collect.
run the risk of turning yourself into a hoarder.
Sorry, what did you say?
You run the risk of turning yourself into a hoarder.
Oh, yeah, totally. Well, that's if you don't organize them and they're just like collecting all over the place, I
Well,
guess.
it can always start as you starting to organize it, and it's like, well, they're starting to. I want to collect more, but I don't have space for them. It's like, but this figure is only $1,000. Bye. Like turning into a hoarder is a gradual experience.
Hmm.
No one's gonna realize that they're a hoarder, even as they are. Every time they step onto garbage.
At that point, it's when it's like it's time to clean up.
Yeah,
My own
but then
room's kind of a mess, but at least it's a sanitary mess.
yeah.
I've been in some houses that are
Oh,
just they should be
you
condemned
know it's one.
sort of deal.
There's one argument that almost threw me up the wall that Bloody tried to use. He said, "Wouldn't it be nice if school shootings stopped happening in America? Shouldn't we just?
School shoot,
Wouldn't it be
unfortunately,
worth getting rid of all the guns just to have that to stop happen?"
it wouldn't stop all the school shoot. Well, it would stop the
It would
shootings, but not the
drastically
property damage.
reduce them. But my counterpoint to that is like, why do you think we now have armed cops? Uh, why do you like? There's a reason. Like kids do not grab guns legally.
Well,
Illegal
also,
gun trade is a super huge business.
I was also thinking like, if not school shootings, we would probably have knifings. We would probably also have.
Yeah, which are far less reported on.
Well, I'm not even just talking about Great Britain's knife problem, which part of the reason they're so anal about knife laws is because of roving gangs of people with knives literally going around shanking the shit out of people. But there are tragedies all over the place that largely stem from serious deficiencies in mental health services, among other things. If not guns, if someone really wants to go out of their way to cause mass harm, they will find a way. Um, like for example, cars, which also became a huge problem during the George Floyd riots.
Yeah, it's like I
Man,
think what's weird about Britain is that you just don't get that. Like no
eh,
country understands the fact how to deal with mental health. Did you hear that in 2023 that Canada plans to legalize assisted suicide by uh, medical professionals?
I'm surprised it's not legal there already.
And I was like, this just proves to everyone in the world that governments will much rather give their money to their militaries than even throw a penny, a fucking they're not even throw a fucking penny at making more robust institutions and systems to help their mentally ill become productive members of society. At 2023, I guarantee you millions are going to die.
Probably.
And some of them will be Americans transferring their renouncing their American lineage to become
Uh,
Canadian
you
to
mean
commit suicide.
citizenship? Yeah.
Yeah, their citizenship. There we go.
Hey, Christian.
Because like there's several states that just border Canada. Adults feeling depressed and have enough drive to do it, but they don't want to feel the pain. Just one little stab in the arm.
I'm surprised. I was just informed by Pastel Robot that apparently assisted suicide is actually a thing down here in the States. In a few states, I was not aware of that.
I was not aware of that either.
Apparently, it's a thing in Oregon.
They, the you can get assisted suicide if you have been diagnosed with any form of depression-related mental illness, even anxiety. Why are people calling me? What? I guess I'll be right back because no one wants to ever respond to me.
All right, see you in a bit. I went ahead and muted Luke for the time being while they complete whatever it is they need to do in the meat space world. Uh, Thanks once again. I do apologize for the current tone of the podcast. Gonna see if we can move on to slightly less depressing uh, topics for the next half an hour. I didn't
Okay, now I've
actually open
officially
this.
returned.
All right, 1 second. Welcome back, Luke.
Hello.
So yeah, moving back to, I actually forgot what it was that we were
It was
discussing
about
earlier.
guns and how your opinions do not understand how gun culture work and the fact that you only increase the amount of oh wait, no, we're talking about mental health actually. We're talking about
I
like
think
the
we,
assisted suicide.
I think we somehow segued into that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that they're doing, you can in Canada in 2023, you can request assisted suicide if you suffer from any depression-based mental illness.
Hmm.
And I think even anxiety is covered under that blanket.
There's got to be more to it than that because otherwise, um, a lot of people would be seeking assisted suicide, and I do mean a lot of people.
I unironically feel that there is, knowing Canada, their laws are kind of just thought of as they go.
Hmm.
I remember they tried making a law that they claimed that would help trans people, but even a trans person in the fucking room told them straight to their face, this is going to hurt so many trans people and their freedom.
So, what was the law,
Uh,
if you to know?
I can't remember exactly, but it was something that was meant to benefit both Muslim and trans people. It was like an anti hate. Oh, it was like something like you can't even insult. It was something about anti racism or something like that. It was like so long ago. It was back when I was really getting into the getting into politics, and it's like a lot of people in the right wing and skeptic communities, even in the left side, were like, "Oh, like what the fuck, Canada?
Hmm.
What the hell?" I do know this was right around when Bill Nye made his really cringe gender as a spectrum statement in his show.
That
Which,
happened. I kind of stopped following Bill Nye after he rose to prominence again, just by going out of his way to shit on people,
wait, what?
which didn't really sit right with me. But then again, I generally don't like following provocateur people who make their personality one of just endlessly provoking people for no reason. So I kind of phased them out of my mind for a little bit.
I didn't even know he did that.
What? That's like his whole thing, or
Listen,
became his whole thing.
only thing I knew about Bill Nye was the show where he tries to talk about uh, LGBT topics like gender and try to teach children about that sort of thing. and also there was something kind of harmful they made. It was a ice cream analogy that sounded a little rapey.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it was. I forgot the. I forgot it. I forgot what it was, so it's definitely going to be a misquote. But actually, I don't even remember. I just remember the vibe was really rapey, and that the rapey vibe was it. It was essentially implying that rape, rape, raping people you don't understand is okay. And oh my god, oh jeez,
Um,
somebody in the writers' room is getting fired.
it's very confusing.
All right, people don't like to knock in this house.
Mhm.
Right, what was I talking about? It was something with Bill Nye.
Uh, I honestly have no idea.
Oh yeah, I was finishing up uh, my thoughts on the how bad that ice cream thing was. But yeah, that bottom line I was really uncomfortable. That was weird. I'm not even trans, and that made me feel gross. But that's all I know about him. Just the Science Guy show, the weird shit with that, and the fact that he went to a tech to TCU to talk to do a talk. Like that's all I knew about Bill Nye.
So you didn't grow up with Bill Nye the Science Guy and all that stuff.
Uh, in terms of classrooms, yes.
Hmm. I used to watch that show all the time on PBS.
Hmm.
So it was kind of a shock when he kind of disappeared for a while. We all grew up, and then he came back, and his main shindig was basically provoking people online and stuff. And I just kind of phased him out, let the memories remain intact, that sort of thing.
The way the science community labeled like Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson is that they're scientific translators.
I wouldn't even call him that. Neil deGrasse Tyson, in particular, I feel like he kind of betrays his reputation for, or betrays his reputation for science with opening his mouth on things that he really should has no stake in and
Ooh,
shouldn't
what did
open
he
his mouth.
talk about?
I mean, I'm not going to get into any specifics now, but he has this or Neil deGrasse Tyson has this problem where something happens on the internet, and he feels the need to comment on it, and
Mm-hmm.
the manner with which he comments on it has an air of smugness to it and arrogance to it, and the way he deals with criticism when people either respond negatively to his tweets or corrects him is one of someone who can't take criticism, but their way of dealing with criticism is to passive aggressively insult the responders in such a way as to boost his own ego. For example, okay, fine, I will give an example because there's this happened unfortunately quite a few times. The most recent one I remember, there was yet another tragedy here in the States, and he had the bright idea to and this literally just and the said head tragedy just happened. He had the bright idea to go to Twitter and talk about how, in the grand scope of things, the deaths of these people were meaningless because people die all the time from other more likely things or more likely reasons,
Mm-hmm.
which is not wrong, but the timing with which he made it the manner with which he downplayed the criticism and the manner with which he doubled down and the fact that he has this way of talking about these things in a very excessively cold, detached manner created a firestorm of lack of empathy, which really, if not the final nail in the coffin, really did a number on his reputation and served to further overshadow his achievements, his contributions to science, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is the main problem. Where I almost wonder if it has something to do with the nature of social media buoy. I can't fucking pronounce this word.
Buoy?
Um, buoy. Um, Basically giving people,
Oh, Lily.
let's just use the phrase unwarranted sense of self-importance, because that's what it is like. Or to use another phrase, not staying in your lane. Just because you are very knowledgeable and very popularized for one thing does not necessarily mean that you can or should comment on something else, much less in such a public manner. Or at the very least, he could have gone about in a way that wasn't so cold. Like, I too can argue
So,
of how terrorist attacks are terrible, but did you know that people die in the hundreds, maybe hundreds of thousands every day from heart disease and car accidents? But there's no point to me saying this. What is the point of me saying this during the midst of a national tragedy, of which many people are literally hurting from having experienced it? It's like it's it's there's a time and place sort of thing. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
And I just and it's one thing if this happens once, it's another thing if this happens multiple times to the point where I don't know.
Well,
I was told to shut up a lot growing up. It did a
mm-hmm.
number on my self-esteem, but at the same time, there is a time to shut up, I guess. I don't know. I'm
I
kind of
would say there
uncomfortable.
is a time to hold your tongue depending on what you are going to say. I do not know which situation you're talking about, but the first thing that came to my mind is George Floyd. Is that the one?
No, this was before George Floyd. This was I don't even fucking remember. Um, I don't know.
It sounds morbid, but I do have favorite tragedies based on positive outcomes that came from the aftermath because people didn't focus on just being mad about it. They focused on trying to fix the problem, right? Like,
Um,
I don't know if I worded this right, but I don't know a better way to. Interesting.
yeah.
But point. Uh, question: what is your opinion on BLM?
Uh, my opinion
Not the
is
subject, the
that we
organization.
should, if you don't mind, I would much prefer if we move
Stay
on
away.
to
Okay, fair
topics.
enough.
I feel like
Yeah,
yeah, heavy politics has kind of run its course.
fair
Let's
enough.
go
Fair
ahead
enough.
and move to something else.
Okay, okay. I had at the beginning of this, I had like 13 questions, but I can't remember. I remember those 13 questions with the why. No one but me will understand what that reference is.
I have an idea of what I could be referring to, but I also hated that series
I also hate that series.
for personal reasons. But
I will never understand why people thought that was a good uh, pro mental health show.
I don't think it had anything to do with pro mental health. I think it just had to do with it made a good show because it was a topic that people would tune into regardless of whether they
Nah,
enjoyed it or
the
not.
writer said it was made to spread awareness and make people understand mental health better.
I think the writer is full of shit, and they were just saying that to save face and to get better marketing
They said
copy.
that the first season, which everyone liked, and then they kept saying that for every sequential season. Saying, like, this is how people actually act. We are just giving the raw, true emotions of mental health.
I don't like it when people say shit like that because the fact of the matter is, trying to, it's really, there's a significant amount of hubris to ever claim to speak for everyone when it comes to something like mental health.
Yeah, did you see the school shooting episode?
No, actually, I decided to not watch the show after
Yeah,
all,
I
even
watched
though
like several reviews. That's the only reason why I know about it.
I was planning on reading the book, the source material, but then flipping through it, I realized that this was too toxic to even consider or spend time on because what's unfortunate is it is true that there are some people that struggle with suicidal impulses that are largely vengeful and
Mm-hmm.
do this sort of thing to retaliate as a form of retaliation, but at the same time I get kind of upset when anyone writes something like this and claims to be the foremost knowledgeable with regard to how all people deal with suicidal impulses, because not only is that absolute garbage, but it's also completely fucking insulting to anyone who may have ever experienced mental health struggles with suicidal impulses who were not chiefly vengeful towards other people, nor were they. Sorry, Lou. We really have to switch to something else. This is getting
Yeah,
too personal.
I just realized like, oh, I was just talking about a fun subject. 13 reasons why I hate it, and then
I really
I
think
was
it's
like,
disgusting.
it's no problem. Remember, you have the power to veto any question.
Yeah. Have a good night, Seal. Um,
Let's see. What was my other question? Uh, oh, well, I guess considering nobody heard it because I actually had to restart the stream. What would you say is like other than technical? What was there ever a major issue you had to deal with being a VTuber?
um, a lot of the stuff that major issues I had to do with regard to VTubing were both prior to VTubing and also um, technical issues. The first and foremost, my view of streaming and VTubing in general was largely wrong. I actually thought VTubing was more acting than it was improv. I also had this. I basically thought it was closer more to like TV shows sort of stuff. I didn't realize it was more. I didn't realize it was more. It turned out to be a lot more personal than I expected. When I got into VTubing, I started watching streamers more often, even the larger ones, and I was surprised at some VTubers, even the larger, more popular ones, larger ones with like many tens of thousands of followers and many hundreds of people in chat. Some of them really do go out of their way to respond to and to acknowledge everyone in chat, which was mind-boggling to me. I thought it would be more like the celebrity thing, where you kind of start to see everyone more as a red shirt, more as like a same face sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't expect it to be so personal, and I got a lot of prompting for VTubing from friends, some of whom are my mods and some of whom are also followers, who uh, basically taught me what it was like to be a VTuber, even if they weren't VTubers themselves. And I was really surprised by the sheer amount of collaborative effort and collaboration within the VTubing community. I was also expecting it to be more competitive, more rivalry, the usual bullshit you see between Hollywood actors and actresses and whatnot. And to me, from what I've seen, that's actually more on the rare side. More people, more often than not, it's almost reminds me a lot more of the open source communities and of modding communities where people are more liable to create stuff to share with each other, and there's a lot more. It seems very easy to, if not make friends, then to network, to make contacts. In some ways, it almost feels like being back in college and grouping up with people to share who have a combined interest in sharing sharing. I don't. Is it sharing hobbies or something? It's like just sharing together.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it was almost like a miniature culture shock. Having to readjust my approach. I'm kind of a, if you couldn't tell, I'm actually traditionally kind of a bit of a paranoid person. I tend to be more of a private person.
Mm-hmm.
So breaking down my own barriers of being a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Being a lot more open with people who view my content and in general, and being a lot more open on Twitter as a person, um, was kind of a challenge for me, and at the same time one that I welcome, just because I acknowledge that it's probably better to be open about oneself than to be jaded and cagey about it, just because, well, to use the really cliched phrase, oh, you catch more bees with honey than salt, I guess, or whatever the fuck. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that was definitely a struggle, and one I still struggle with today, just because I do follow some certain accounts on Twitter which specialize in drama, specifically just to keep abreast of the going ons in the greater VTuber community, so that I know who to avoid and how not to act, and how not to act in the greater social media or greater VTuber communities. Um, Not to replicate or not to like spread these sort of things. I have unfortunately had to a few times now either unfollow or disassociate with certain people, that some of whom I unfortunately was considering friends or on friendly terms with, just because they represent things that I, in good conscience, cannot associate with, or they were, for lack of better terms, toxic in a way that I don't want to continue to be exposed to moving forward. So it's just, but at the same time, I have not needed to twit longer anyone. I hope I never have to. There was one case where someone has the sort of drama that is definitely the kind that is dangerous to associate further with, and I had no interest in blowing it up. I just kind of quietly left and removed my existence from their spaces, and kind of moved on. And it sucks, but I've had to do that before with in pre do that before with other communities, and that's, I feel like, the only compromise I can make with regard to moving forward, but also not dragging excessive negativity with me. Um, so I feel like that's the hardest part of YouTubing. Ironically, I see a lot of YouTubers who say it's tiring for them to stream. I don't get tired streaming. I actually kind of look forward to this part-time job after my real life job every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So I don't mind that. It's more like the trying to force myself to navigate the social spheres of VTubing, because it is a necessity to maintain these social medias, even though I don't particularly enjoy Twitter. Um, because or particularly enjoy Twitter. I probably will never make a TikTok again, though. But
Ooh, was there an explosion?
um, TikTok, I just don't like TikTok. I don't like how it's designed. I don't like what it's been used and abused for. I don't like who runs TikTok, and I don't, I, I don't feel like TikTok is
Yeah,
worth
it's
the
one thing
effort.
to be owned by China, but it's another thing to have the mms on
Well,
there.
even if it wasn't for China, it's just the fact that it's just the reason I quit Twitter a long time ago is because Twitter used to be worse. It used to be you couldn't control the garbage that gets posted to your feed. I don't need to see Trump or anyone else for that matter constantly paying Twitter to blast their garbage shit on my anytime I log in. It's just I and also the reason I quit Facebook is because Facebook's algorithm, and probably still is today, is literally designed to force you to be angry and upset all the time so that you respond to things, so that you drive up impressions and whatnot. And I know Twitch, I know Twitter to some extent is like that, but it's so much easier to avoid that on Twitter because unlike Facebook, you don't need to be following people and stuff. But and also like on Twitter, I heavily police myself with regard to I don't retweet certain things. I may occasionally push the like button on someone's post, but I don't retweet things to my followers because my followers don't need to know my opinions on certain things. They don't necessarily need to see it either. And same
Mm-hmm.
thing with like I myself have no problem, for example, with pornographic or 18 plus or NSW content, but I don't think that my followers need to see me or see that on their dash, and they may not necessarily need to see may not necessarily want to see that on their VTuber accounts. So I don't republish that stuff, or tend to avoid republishing such content on my profile. Same thing. Um, so, and also going back to the whole, it may not seem like it sometimes, but traditionally I tend to be a kind of person that has self-esteem issues, that struggles with paranoia and a lot of trust issues, and VTubing has kind of proven to be a place where I kind of try to force myself to be a better person in that regard, if only because um, I don't want to. There's a certain kind of person that I want to show to people who tune into my content every week, and I don't like watching this sort of thing in other people. So why should I show it to other people? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and aside from the social aspect, the other aspect I've been having difficulties with, or I struggle with, is the hardware aspect. I've been very fortunate that I
Ooh.
could afford to replace bits and pieces of my streaming setup. Um, I and hopefully I can quote most of that on my taxes next year. Um, the latest problem of which I've been having has been a lot of my programs use Unity, and Unity is notorious for burning out graphics cards. I was able to largely solve the issues I had with Unity back in March by underclocking my graphics card, and just today, while waiting for you to start the podcast, I was playing a little bit of Vampire Survivor with my followers, and I had a freeze for the first time in like a month, and it was very out of the blue. I hope it doesn't happen again because I was playing Vampire Survivor last night with no issue, um, and even then I could always just underclock my hardware further. Worst comes to worst, I guess I'll just have to bite the bullet and find a 3080 somewhere, or maybe
Yeah, for
grab
not
one
$13,000.
or not. Yeah, no kidding, right? Or maybe I'll just get another 1080 Ti on eBay for around 600 or something. Who knows? Uh, Either way, aside from that, and I guess I tend, I guess I can be a rather vulgar person, but I don't mind censoring myself for the sake of not getting canned on Twitter and Twitch. So that's kind of not an issue. But everything else that I kind of just rambled on about just now
You
was
say
pretty
that,
much.
but like Iron Mouse was straight up got into shit for just posting art, for posting art she made.
What was the shit that she got into?
She just, I don't know what the drawing was, but according to most people that weren't just screaming, it was just cute art. I think she just drew herself.
There's probably people just giving her shit for the sake of giving her shit.
Yeah, and it's like
Like
it bothered me about the fact that this bitch can't even post art with you guys without you guys getting your panties in a twist. What the fuck?
I mean, nah. People are always petty like that. Like the other day, Maury Calliope was having people getting angry at her for some reason, and sometimes people
I
give.
can't even remember what that reason was, even though it was like last week.
I'm not gonna even bother bringing it up because it's that petty, but
Yeah,
I mean,
it's constantly getting more and more petty.
it's
The
just
VTubing community is getting more and more petty towards its larger creators that are doing nothing.
I wouldn't even call it the VTuber community. It's just
Well,
people
I just
that's
call it like I only say it's that because it's the same people, the same person that's watching Mori Calliope is the same person watching Gura, the same person watching Takanashi Kira, the same person watching Amelia Watson. They're like, whether I want to admit it or not, they are technically part of the VTuber community because Hollow Life community is technically a VTubing community.
I mean, yes, but also they don't represent like the entirety of the VTuber community. Like
Yeah,
I saw this I saw this YouTube not too long ago, and to be fair, they're one of those VTubers that has a tendency to exaggerate stuff for clickbaits. But they were like, "Oh, the NVTuber community is tearing itself apart again." Blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, it's like, if I could go on Twitter and have people see people post on Twitter like, "Who the fuck is this person and why are the people angry at them?" It gives you the reminder that even though they're part of the community, they are not the community. The community is not, as a whole, is not suddenly dying just because people are angry with this VTuber
yeah.
who has
Actually, I have a good example because I'm not gonna get into the drama because I actually learned about it later. But you know
Mhm.
the Sushi drama?
Saroi drama,
Yeah,
do you mean?
Saraway. That was it. That was it.
Yeah, I was following that. I'm actually mutuals with the principal person that uh got
That was
also
affected.
ended up moving up, who was affected, who actually blew up as a result of that. So that's how I got involved. Otherwise, I didn't know who
That's poppin'.
Saru was before that either.
Oh well, I knew who she was. I was just like never in that circle because, despite the fact I follow a few horny VTubers, I'm not part of the horny VTuber community.
Yeah, me
Because
neither.
Saraway is kind of part of them. Because she rivals Vebe for the amount of horny clips that show up in my timeline.
Hmm.
Like I can't say for sure the number of clips they have and who has the most, but it's like in terms of like my phone's volume per horny clip of Saraway and Veve, they're rivals. Like that's all I'll say on that.
Hmm.
The Saraway thing is the only time I was like, this isn't even a drama I care that much about, despite it being in my side of the field.
It was kind of the sort of drama that's honestly I don't even care anymore. They kind
It
of
was like a wet fart of a drama. It blew up and then went away fast.
there's a lot of drama I've seen recently that is not even, I would say, scandalous. It's kind of high school bullshit level sort of stuff. In
Well, that's just the
Saruroi's, it
VTuber
was the fact,
community in general.
like, well, not yes, but not, I mean, I guess that's entertainment in general. I see this sort of shit pulled all the time between actors and actresses.
Yeah.
Them being mad at each other for really dumb relationship shit, and
Oh my god, I just remembered something hilarious. I don't know if you watched an Otaku video that mentioned this,
I don't
but
know
you.
who it is. So,
Okay, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Fair enough. So he said he saw a tweet of someone's like, so you know the Will Smith Chris Rock slap, right? Don't
what
worry,
about it?
don't worry. This is the only time I'll mention it. This is as far as I'm going because this is actually just a funny tweet. Uh, the crit, the I don't get why people. I can't remember the words exactly, but essentially, they compared Will Smith and Chris Rock's little slap thing incident to the Twin Towers. This is like just imagine uh, Will Smith as the plane and Chris Rock as the Twin Towers, and they're functionally the same. Violence
Fucking
only
stupid.
begets more violence.
I'm kind of pissed now. That's so fucking
It's
disrespectful
so
for people
it's
that died during that.
disrespectful, and I only think it's funny because that is so fucking brain dead. That is unironically so brain dead. How do you exist?
This is why Twitter discourse is a fucking joke, and discourse in general and social media is a fucking joke, and why no one takes YouTube comments seriously either.
It's even taken less seriously because YouTube comics are plagued with scams and spam.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Like, I actually get upset when people do shit like that. I'm not gonna name examples because some of the examples that come right to my mind are the sort of things that also are full of fucking drama. But
Mm-hmm.
that's so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a generation thing or if people have always been that petty either. Because
Well,
welcome
one
back,
thing I'll
people.
say is that like a lot. So I remember there's this guy I watch. He's a bit of a controversial figure, Augie RC, and he and his two friends were debating uh, some some bullshit, and at the end they were talking about like uh, the hypersexualization of the current generation, and it's like I say, and my response to that conversation was, people have always been this degenerate, this horny, this mad, this petty, this disgusting since the Stone Age. We fucked people's eye sockets. I've read those stories.
That is
If
true.
we dignified it, if tomorrow the government said it was okay to fuck somebody's dead eye socket, there will be thousands of people doing it.
That is true.
Yeah, the horny degeneracy is not just the new generation. It's baked into us. It's weird, it's stupid, and the only thing stopping us is the fact that it's socially unacceptable, and I am more thankful that that is not socially acceptable. Is this I always think those arguments like, oh, we're only this vitriolic, this mean, this big of a dick shit, and this horny now because the internet exists. No, it's just in your face right now. This, what you're saying online right now, this is humanity. We've all been like this. We are all this angry, this petty, this stupid, this brain dead. The only difference is that it's in greater volume in your face. It's not something that you're seeing one time on the news and then forget about. It's on your phone all the time, every day, 24/7, 365.
I need to get that quip of Armstrong from Metal Gear Revengeance. What was it? 24 hours something of bullshit? Something like that. I don't know.
I I want to believe it's 24 hours of liberal bullshit.
I don't think he
I know
specified the
I don't think he ever specified it, but I always think like when someone does a stupid meme targeting a political party, it makes me laugh. There was like today, someone was like made a boomer bottom top text bottom text video meme of like on one of the quotes was, oh, shit, I only watched it today. I watched it twice and somehow I don't remember it. Oh wait, it wouldn't be on my computer because I'm not signed into my normal YouTube account here. Shit, but he was talking about something about like non-binary weaponry because he
What?
he doesn't understand what non-binary means.
Oh my fucking god! Why are
It
people
was a
so
joke.
fucking
It was a joke because Raiden was the one saying like, do you even know what that fucking means? Because like he's the one politically correcting him.
Oh, that kind of meme. Okay.
Yeah, Raiden was the politically correct person, while Armstrong was politically incorrect and didn't understand it, and was misinterpreting it and putting it into his message.
My
And it
god.
was so fucking funny. And then he
Man,
said, and apparently he made a tweet where he got ratioed by dictionary.com.
he got ratioed by who?
Dictionary.com.
Wow.
He's like, wait, let me pull up Twitter. He says he
Non-binary
got
is
ratioed. You seriously got ratioed by dictionary.com.
You know it's bad when you're getting ratioed by dictionary.com.
There was this one political left activist that faked her tire being slashed by a right ringer. She slashed her own tires. And the Michelin man, she got ratioed by the Michelin man. He said, "You did it. That's not consistent with someone slashing your tires." It's the day someone gets ratioed by the fucking Michelin tire man.
You know you fucked up then.
You just need to throw away your phone. You can't be on the internet anymore. You can befriend the Michelin man, but if you get ratioed by him, you best just leave.
It's like you're done.
Yeah, you get ratioed by any small brand such as Michelin, Dictionary.com, anything like that. You might as well leave. I'm trying to think of other ones. I wonder if anyone ever got ratioed by Adam and Eve.
By Adam who?
Adam and Eve. The sex toy website.
Oh.
Fun fact, I don't know if you know this, but do you know Penguin Z0, right, Charlie?
Yeah.
You know Belle Delphine, right?
Yes. What about them?
Do you remember their rivalry with sex toys?
Vaguely.
Did you know Adam and Eve was his supplier, and all of his sex toys were given to him for free so he could win against Belle Delphine?
That's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah. He has a warehouse full of them now. He owns 10 Moby Huges. Those are like $10,000.
Wait, since when did a sex toy cost 10 grand?
It was either 10,000 like 5K. It was like something stupid expensive. Because I think it's made out of the same material as a normal dildo is. So if a vagina was that big enough, you could theoretically fit it safely.
Safely. Keyword.
Yeah, safely.
Safe.
The point of the Moby Huge is just a joke that Adam and Eve made. No, that's it. But I think Charlie's the only man I've known, I shouldn't say known, but aware of, that has ever shot a Moby Huge.
Wait, what do you mean by shot?
If I remember correctly, he took a Moby Huge to the range and let him and his buddies shoot at it.
And let it rip?
Yeah, they were testing the ballistic strength of a Moby Huge.
Was it with Demo Ranch?
I don't know. I just remembered reading the title. I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Keep scrolling.
That's the sort of thing a Demo Ranch would do. I don't know if they know each other though.
I don't know. But he did say he wanted at one point to get a bunch of YouTuber engineers together and to see if they could, like, the challenge would be, how far can you launch a Moby Huge?
Sounds to me like they could launch at a huge amount, but
Well, Moby Huge is actually surprisingly heavy because it's just a dildo, just huge. So it's full. It's dense.
And
so
Sorry, go on.
So you have so the fact that a Moby Huge, if I remember correctly, has balls. So you have to. So if you're going to min-max your competition, you have to think about the aerodynamics of the average penis with veins, along with the ball sack. So the ball sack is the thing that will actually stop. That will actually end up grabbing a lot of the wind and slowing the Huge down. So it's actually a real engineering challenge because I think the stipulation is that you can create whatever you want, but you can't modify the Moby Huge. Which would actually unironically be a true engineering challenge because there is a upper limit that you can shoot something without adding more force. Like, for instance, there's a reason why the military is trying to move more, change more of its weapons into railguns, because railguns only require energy to move faster and faster and further, while ballistic weapons like guns and normal artillery have a upper limit that they can reach because there's only so much energy you can create from the explosions that you create in a miniaturized chamber or in a large chamber.
I
While
see.
rail is all energy.
Oh, magnetism.
Yep.
Fucking magnets. How do they work?
Oh god, I just remember that one meme. It's like, magnets, how do they work? And then
Wait.
someone's balls get crushed.
Oh, okay. I thought you understood the reference. I was making something else.
Nope.
Showing my age, I guess.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, you boomer.
I'm not a boomer.
Mmm. Despite the fact that you're from the future, you're still aging.
That's very true. Technically, I would be like a zoomer or with an X. Or maybe or maybe I should use like a Greek alphabet, a sigmar, sigmar.
The generation is Sigma. We are the Sigma generation.
It's a good day to be an adherent of sigmar.
By the way, I have two traditions I want to ask.
You sure?
One, do your best villain impression.
All right.
If you
Let
need a
me get.
phrase, I'll provide one.
I got one in mind.
Okay,
I'm
good.
gonna see if I can.
The last two people needed a phrase.
I wouldn't say that this is my best impression, but it's the first one I came up when I thought about. But I might not be able to find it since this one is from a Newgrounds sketch.
If you want, you can also do the. You know that one Sonic Adventures dub video?
I do not.
Oh, really? It's like.
Are you talking about the pissing in the moon?
Yes.
I can't do Eggman very well, to be honest. I was
Well,
going
the
to
point.
do.
Well, I wasn't trying to say do Eggman, but just quote. If you wanted to use, if you want to use an out and non, if you want to use a non-generic quote or just a generic quote.
We could probably try doing a few. I've been told that for some reason I have a very good evil laugh. I did originally start doing the evil laugh thing, sort of just like for the hell of it, but
Mm-hmm.
then I did it so much that it ended up replacing my real laugh and became a real laugh, so I do it uncontrollably
I
now.
did that. That happened to me once, and then I got bored of it, and I changed my laugh again. My laugh changes so often.
But I was going to actually try and do Psychomantis, or rather the Psychomantis from Metal Gear, from a old Metal Gear Solid Flash animation on Newgrounds. That I can't. It's been so long that I actually forgot the name of the person who even made the video, but you would recognize it immediately because it's kind of that iconic.
I actually haven't watched too many animations when I was younger,
You never been on
especially Metal Gear. No, I never actually watched a Newgrounds.
I guess that's just.
Your
Yeah,
age showing again.
I guess
What
people
a boomer.
they kind of moved all that stuff to YouTube nowadays.
Yep. There's this one old Newgrounds animation that was ported over to YouTube. It was a zombie apocalypse series about an old man trying to get his slipper.
I've
And
never heard of
he doesn't give a shit about anyone, but he accidentally saves like a big titty nurse.
accidentally.
Yeah. And I can't. I remember I got to the last of the series, and I don't know if it ever finished because he didn't. He never found a slipper.
Rip.
Yeah,
Kind
at
of
that
reminds me
point
of
I
Old Man
stopped.
Henderson.
Huh?
It kind of reminds me of the legend of Old Man Henderson.
Hmm. My favorite one is my inner machinations have laid undetected for millennia.
I wonder if I can do an M. Bison impression. Let me see if I
M.
can.
Bison?
Yeah, let me see if I can do it.
Well, it's like, what I mean by evil impression is just like your own evil voice just doing a random quote. As like,
I can never find these quotes when I need them. I guess I can't do the laughing part, but it's like, oh, this is delicious. Guess you won't be needing those tapes I made for you. You want me to get rid of them? Don't be hasty. Not until I've seen those street fighters pummeled into dust, which should be any moment now. Yes! Yes! I wonder if anyone if anyone gets that quote. It's from the
I don't.
really bad Street Fighter animated show back in the 90s, from when all that sort of stuff was in vogue.
Wait, yes, yes. Is that one yes meme?
It's probably the yes meme. It's basically M Bison, and he has this funny way of saying yes, yes, and for some reason this is delicious.
Yes! Yes!
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
and
unironically,
yeah.
it sounds so robotic. What if you try to do a GLaDOS impression? Just a male GLaDOS.
This is a triumph. I'm making a note here. Huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction.
My favorite is the potato
Aperture
scene.
science. We do what we must because we can.
By the way, you shouldn't go too far with that. I think that's still copyrighted.
Are they going to copyright strike someone doing a cover of it?
It's bots, dude.
That's true, but that's kind of fucked up.
Because, like, I want you to remember, Portal was made before the standard that we now have, that we can use game music in videos as long as we credit. Everyone already knows the music of most video games, so if anything, it helps with advertising.
Pacelow Robot says they can't copyright a cover, but at the same time, I'm wondering if Jonathan Colton himself would care.
I don't think he would care. Most people that create music are more flattered by covers. It's usually the music holders doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I know whoever... What was their name again? I can't remember the name, but there's this song called Black Sheep, and I can't remember who made it, but they did a video reacting to all of the covers their fans sent them. I almost guarantee that their music label has attempted to copyright these covers at one point. And the band was just not aware of it.
Rip.
Yeah. I don't know a single artist that's against music covers. Like, fundamentally, as long as you're giving credit to who was, where the song came from, doing a cover is just a-okay. At least that'll be my policy.
Well, I don't need to continue the rest of the song if you prefer that I don't, so don't worry about it.
I'm mostly concerned about your safety. But I was expecting the potato scene because that's GLaDOS at her most sassy. I don't know if you remember it, though.
I beat Portal 2, both Portals, but to be honest, I remember less about Portal 2 than I do about Portal 1, which is weird because Portal 2 was pretty memorable. But
And funnier.
Mostly what I remember about Portal 2 was GLaDOS being unable to lie because she literally did not have the processing power as a potato to do so, and also the final scene involving a moon, which I will not spoil in case there's someone here who has yet to play Portal 2 somehow. Let's just say that Cave Johnson had the right idea.
Yeah. Let's see here. I remember... Oh, great. My slow clap processes are still work. It's weird because I always like to watch that this animation that they waifuify GLaDOS Potato. they they made her a dark skinned emo chick that has her hair blocking one eye, and it's just like it's sassy as all fuck. But I think the potato version's funnier because it's just your imagination. I think that's the best part. It's like only Whitley has the most expressive motion, being just an eye. Well,
Mhm.
GLaDOS, the only the only thing that she ever expresses through her eye is just I'm slightly annoyed at you. I actually don't even get you don't even see her panic. You actually, I remember correctly, uh, she screams as covers cover up what the fuck is going on. I fucking love GLaDOS. But my favorite type of villain is like the generic villain everyone thinks about. It's like, once again I have foiled you, you Superman. I will soon rule the metropolitan area and get my ice cream.
Not so fast, Mojo Jojo.
You say Joe's Mojo Jojo?
I tried to say Mojo Jojo and I fucked it up and said Jojo Mo. I fucked it up. It's completely it's
Mojo
entirely fun.
Jojo. I don't even know if I said it right. It's been so long.
Gentlemen, behold, more corn.
Gentlemen, behold the bounty I have provided you. Follow me, and I will provide you more. All I ask in return is the head of this child.
Jake Zilla, the old schooler. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, so Aqua Team Hunger Force.
Definitely do not do TV show openings. That's a guaranteed. TV show is not on the same level, and I don't think it ever will. What was the other question again? Oh yeah, the most cultured of questions, the best of the best. What is your fetish? Armpits, booba, thighs, feet. Wait, booba, thighs, feet, booty. There we go. Which one?
Flat is justice.
All right, you go for the booba flat. Nice. Me, I'm ass and boobies. I like both nations.
And everything changed when the Feet Nation attacked.
Oh God, I wish my sister would stop talking about her fetishes to me. My first thought was just about the call where she admitted to me that she discovered that she's a foot fetishist.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, she was like, Maka, I think I'm into feet. And at that moment, my whole life died. Everything ceased to be anything. Honestly, I'm surprised you stuck with me this long, because you actually said you only have a time slot for 5 to 8.
I do, but been waiting on the phone call and it's not come yet. We're probably having a late supper tonight, so I figured I might as well stick around.
Okay, fair. Brain is on airplane mode because I can't remember the other questions. Actually, what are your favorite games?
That's a difficult question. I've kind of been in and out of video games lately. I guess they come and go.
Well, it's more of like genre type I'm looking for.
Oh, genre type's a lot easier to give out. Really a big fan of 4X games. Our 4X games. I like FPSs. I love fighting games. What else am I into? Played a lot of platformers growing up. Obviously, I used to be really big into JRPGs at one point. And let's see, is there a
I actually
genre I've not
despise
played that
JRPGs.
I really like space simulators, and I used to play mech simulators all the time. That's kind of a dying genre, though.
I
I like.
recently got a game called Garrison Archangel.
What's that about?
Uh, Imagine a mecha fighting game. Like it's an arena fighting game where
Interesting.
you get to customize your mech all the way down to its feet,
hmm
and all of those parts have like special attributes about them. It's like it's really cool because you really make a mech that really complements who you are.
hmm
You're someone that has extreme social anxiety and doesn't like conflict. Okay, have a sniper and shield, and also put rockets on your back that make you slower. So you constantly have to press dodge because you're always dodging social interactions. Are you like me, where you make a podcast that's purposely designed to talk to people because you're lonely, bored, and depressed? Well, what you do is you throw away that shield, you put extra rockets on your back instead of any type of armament that revolves around explosions, and you just start weeb dual wielding samurai bitch in this hole. All right. Only time you're dodging is when friendship says no.
But friendship is magic.
But when friendship says no, that's when you pull out the katanas and you turn on your inner weeaboo.
While you were busy making magic with friendship, I was studying the blade.
If Garrison Archangel is like Steam multiplayer, I would love to play that with friends. I know it has a four. Actually, I think it does have a multiplayer thing. I need to play that with people. I get sick of playing with bots. Must say cheese.
Cheese, cheese.
My strategy of like going and guns blazing. I used to, because I someone liked to meme around. I would put like two missile silos on my shoulders,
hmm
and I will go slap slap, back away, rocket you, and then just inch closer to you, and then boost behind you, slap slap, back away, rocket again.
Nice.
Yeah, there is a you actually have a limited amount of ammunition for weapons in that game. So it actually can turn into, if you're a complete weapons based mecha, it can turn into a war of attrition.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so your entire build is around just destroying obliterating your enemy like in a matter of like uh, seconds to minutes, while the other person could be just has last resort missile silos on their thing if they even bother, and just be dual wield blades, and they're really high on. Like for me, I didn't even put dodge boosters. I put charge boosters. I was straight up that one. You know those joke pedophile memes like pedo bear and that one creepy lady chasing that child.
I think so. Pedo Bear is really old school as far as memes go, though.
Well, it's
What
like
about?
pedo bear is like really easy to describe.
Yeah, I mean, I know who Pedo Bear is.
Yeah, it was
I,
like that. That was essentially me. That was essentially me playing any mech game because I just go straight into you. You're the one running away while I'm the one chasing. There will be no getting chased with me.
Nothing personal, kid. Shing, shing.
Liable. Shinderu. You know, it's weird. I don't call myself a weeb. I refuse.
It's just a label like any other, honestly.
Yeah, I was like, I went. I remember when I first uh, went into Nina Fauna's chat. I was like, "Yeah, I'm not a weeb." And she was like, "Why are you here? Are you lost?" And I didn't elaborate. I was just like staying in the chat, gonna meme around. Actually, I think I did that with almost everyone that wasn't you and Bloody Karma. Because like everyone that I regularly talk to, actually, also I didn't do that to Dex because me and Dex talked in Twitter DMs before we ever collaborated together. I actually still remember our first collaboration. It was in VR chat. He was uh, in in VR, and he just wanted to show me a horror map that was story based. Not really scary, to be honest. It was more noir intrigue.
Is it the one that starts off with you in a car?
It actually starts off with you in a boat.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you are an investigator going into a city that has recently gone dark. It is extremely dangerous to get in this city and almost impossible to get out.
Nice.
Everyone around you is calling you a fool, and you allegedly give this boat driver a lot of money to even get you in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a side quest, which I did not even think that VR chat was this robust to support, really.
VR chat can do a lot of crazy things, believe it or not.
Yeah,
I've
so
seen
weird.
some shit.
It's like I knew about VR chat porn,
I mean,
which is really
that's like
interesting.
VR chat porn is kind of like on the lower end. Some of the stuff really goes out of its way to immersion you into a new world.
Yeah, one of my
Last,
favorites is any time where it's team deathmatch in VR. I just like to own scrubs.
I kind of want to play more. I should probably play more hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades, and get used to playing FPS games in VR. Since it feels
Oh,
like that's
you
going to
know what's
be
one thing that
the next
bothers
wave.
me?
What's up?
How fucking expensive VR games are,
They're not
especially on the
more
Quest.
expensive,
Well,
or
on
at
the
least
Quest platform, they're expensive because there's no
how.
sales.
Oh, that's why.
There's no sales on the Quest platform, and I'm like, how much is Mark charging you guys?
As much as they're willing to pay, I guess.
Well, it's like I'm talking about in terms of like there is a percent charge. I'm talking about like
Oh.
most stores like Steam, Steam and Epic take a 15% charge now. Epic has always been 15%, but Steam was 30% until Epic made it clear, hey, we do not like that that all of you guys that hold apps here are charging 30% per transaction. And also are actively making it more difficult to go to alternative stores. Steam doesn't make it more difficult, but uh, Google Play and the Apple Store uh, both make it really difficult.
Pastel is saying in my chat that they say it's because it's a console that there are no discounts and it's so expensive.
There's discounts on the Xbox, tons actually. That doesn't hold up as easily as you guys thought. I can actually fire up my Xbox right now, and there'll be like several deals that are not related to Game Pass or EA Access, which are things I have because I have Game Pass Ultimate. But I think the only excuse is like, really, is just that Mark is possibly like maybe they put like a 5% extra, 10% extra charge to host your games on this platform, because the only VR games that are on the Quest really are games that you will think they first think of when you think of VR. Really, except for Pavlov. I don't think Pavlov's on VR yet. Which should be great if when it gets on there, because I want to fucking play some goddamn Russian roulette, okay?
So, is it not possible to purchase? This is probably going to sound like a stupid question, but I don't have the Quest. I have a Valve Index, so I really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You really can't just buy games on Steam and then play them on a different hardware or something?
Nope. It's something
Hmm.
called DRM. It's the same reason why you can't buy, like, let's say,
Oh,
you get.
Pistol says. Actually, Pistol Robot says that you can. Do you have to like hack
Wait, really?
anything? So I was thinking like
Someone
VR chat.
explained this in extremely gruesome detail in my Twitter DMs at the
I
right
mean,
now.
I'm thinking like VR chat is not exactly locked to Steam either. And you see people of all stripes there.
That
I
one's
guess,
definitely cross-platform. It's cross-platform everywhere.
so I kind of assume that the same should be true with some other games. You can play PC VR games on the Quest. I don't know what PC
Okay,
VR
okay,
is.
okay. So, PC VR just means Steam VR, but
PSP3.
what I mean, people, is that, like, let's say your PC isn't VR ready. What then?
Oh, something called a Quest Link.
That still requires that you have a PC that's beefy.
So wait, you need a
Your
graphics card?
Quest, your Quest turns into a monitor and not the powerhouse.
Oh.
Yeah, which pisses me the fuck off.
I mean, the Index just makes use of my 1080 Ti, I thought, to run games.
I have a GTX 960. That's why.
Hmm. Yeah, you would have needed at least a 970 to be
Yep.
VR ready, minimum
You
at
know what's
least.
funny? Okay, so a 1060 uh, on Amazon is the same price as a 970 on eBay.
So around 200.
150. No, they're actually both 150.
Oh, they got cheaper.
Yes, it did. I am annoyed that they're the same price, but it's also, I am glad that they're going lower. It just pisses me off that, like, one GPU is like super fucking old, and the other one is not that super fucking old, and they're the same price, and one's more powerful. Which one do you think I gotta spend $150 on, huh?
I mean, don't forget it also depends on the seller. So if you find someone selling them both the same price, that's just because the other guy is trying to screw someone over.
Well, the most common price on eBay right now is 150. Most people want $150 for their GTX 970. The only way you're getting it lower is through bids, and on eBay you can reject the bidding.
Bids are kind of difficult and nervous are kind of like a anxiety inducing anyway.
Yeah, I remember when there was a lot of car auctions on eBay. There would be like a car, a lot of lowball car auctions, and they'll constantly like repost it to hopefully sell the car at a reasonable at a reasonable price, if
Quote
not
unquote
above.
reasonable.
Yeah, reasonable for the dealer. Uh, but there'll be like several cars that are like only being sold for like little $5 and get rejected.
Yeah, I snatched nutmeg.
Go ahead.
No. You want Lucy in here?
I don't care.
Alright.
You just can't touch my fucking chicken, you weirdo. All right. Still here?
I'm still here.
Okay, good. Lost track again.
Mm-hmm.
No, I actually lost track what I was talking about.
I think you're going off about something about PCVR or something like that.
Mm.
Mhm.
Russian roulette. Why am I guy's such a scatterbrain. Holy shit.
It is Friday, and it's getting pretty late. I say
Yeah.
as it's only 9 o'clock in the 9 in the evening. But
Yeah. I guess I'll just talk about fun shit with VR. Have you ever played Onward?
I have not. What's Onward about?
Okay, imagine I don't ever play the PvP. I play the co-op thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I go on co-op, and it's like it's always a gamble of what you'll get. You'll either get like children, nice children, racist children, or dickhead children.
Sounds like
Or
Counter-Strike.
yeah, but more often than not, you get adults just trying to vibe, and that's what I love. But one time, I got the Holy Trinity, but I also wasn't in the mood to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So a British man gets in, along with me and two kids. These kids are assholes.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, okay, so the British guy was understandably uncomfortable playing a VR game with children. He's uncomfortable with it. He doesn't want them to be here. He was asking them to leave, and the kids were just being really stubborn, just like not leaving. And the thing is that the British guy I was the leader, and I was just like, well, come on, kids. Why not just leave? Come on. It's better. It just makes it easier. I just have to wait for two adults. Fuck it. And eventually, I just start the game because this goes on for like a whole 15 minutes.
Shit, man.
We start off every game with the British guy killing the children.
That's cool.
And in the back of my head, I'm just thinking about Anakin killing the younglings.
Not the younglings.
So
Not the Skywalker.
there's this one map, I can't remember its name, but it was a desert map, and there's this one spawn area where you spawn in this box building with a giant fucking hole in it with a generator inside.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing it does, he pulls out his 1911, bop bop, kills the children. I do not know how he always knows who is the child. He just has a anti-child radar.
Child sense.
Yeah, so he instantly murks them. Bam bam. All right, and he goes like, "All right, let's play, bro." He dies in 30 seconds. Rip. So I am on my own. And I was so fucking stressed. I was stressed out because I didn't know the number of people here. I forgot what was the difficulty. So I was treating like this, it was on elite difficulty. Like I was going to be, like it was Black Hawk Down. Like if I was one of the characters in there. I was like moving around, checking all of my corners super carefully. I go to every corner of the map. I see fucking nobody. By the way, at this point, before I left the box, I killed like 7 dudes. So I leave. Nice. I check every back corner. I see nobody. I start walking back. Next thing you know, it's just an entire fucking platoon.
It's raining men. Hallelujah. It's raining men.
So obviously I always pull up with my silenced weapons, and always have one loud one just in case. So I silently kill 5 guys. I walk around, and without even looking, I'm fully aware that I'm going to run low on my mate primary weapon, and will have to switch to my silenced 1911. Mm-hmm. Slow panic. And I kill 2 more dudes before I get shot in the back of the head.
Rip.
And they're like, dude, you were fucking sick, nasty. Holy shit, you were an assassin.
Sick, nasty.
Yeah. It was the first time I was praised by two different entire age different demographics, and it was interesting because like obviously the kids did not have a problem with me. I was just like being chill, saying, "Hey, I think you guys should just leave. It makes it easier." Blah 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 blah. So, uh, we went to another map because at that point we had enough attempts to where the map rotation triggered, and we ended up on this desert place, and I get stuck with one of the children because for some reason the adult and the other kid split up together. Whatever happened happened, and we were at the other side. We start searching around. Oh, I actually remember. Okay. We spawned inside of the bridge of the. This is a dam, by the way. We're in the dam, and those two walk off together, arguing with each other the whole way, and I instantly hear screaming and gunfire this way, and they go silent. I just assume they're just taking things cautiously. They're doing fine. There's no way they could have died this fast. We're on normal. It's 160 dudes. Whatever. Me and the kid go into the elevator. We make a few call outs. It's eerily silent, and then one of them finally goes on the radio. It's the other kid. He doesn't say that he's down. It's some incoherent bullshit. So we go up to the top of the dam. We observe our surroundings. No one's there. We cross the bridge. No one's on the bridge. We go back into the dam. And apparently we didn't know where they died, but we found a sign. We found the 1911 he was carrying. And I immediately took all the ammunition that fell on the floor. But I warned the child that this is a bad omen and that there has to be enemies somewhere. They died. We're the only ones left. So we start walking super slowly. And as I was turning the corner, I'm dead. The kid dies instantly too. And I was like, what the fuck? We got fucking murked, and that was the last session before I went to bed.
Rip.
Yeah.
Kill. We're getting raided. Hey, hero. Welcome to the stream. I'm actually part of a podcast. What's the name of the podcast again? I'm sorry. Helltalk?
That is correct.
Helltalk with Luke Zhao. Welcome.
Hello, Hero and Heroes viewers. How is your day poppin'?
Going to shout out Heroes Train and Luke Zhao again. For some reason, Nightbot is refusing to shout out Luke Zhao again. Let's do that.
Wow, robots are races against demons. I see how it is.
There you go. Thank you so much for the follow. Or wait, that's not a follow. That was a rating. Why was that delayed? That's weird. Anyway, thank you for the raids they've won.
Have I ever accidentally triple rated somebody?
We accidentally triple rated somebody?
Yeah. Like, it wasn't 3 people. It was you somehow managing to get the raid, the bot to say you raided 3 times in a row.
Oh, I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, hey, I think what happens is like when the stream manager glitches and you try to spam the raid button, how many times you press the raid button is how many times the bot will register that you raided them. So I raided IMA 3 times.
Awesome.
Yeah. Frankly, that was my last stream. You were part of it.
The one for the king, right?
No, that wasn't for the king. You were you were just in chat yesterday.
Oh, the previous one. That one.
And was that an alt account or something?
No, that was me.
Really? Why is your name different?
I mean, my Twitch account name is Lulz Time.
I was expecting like if I would ever find your thing. Actually, I know I have your stream pulled up. Never mind, it's no longer pulled up.
Huh. Speaking of which, going to go ahead and shill this. Oh wait, apparently the word shill is also considered a bad word by Twitch now, or something like that.
Wait, really? I didn't even know that.
Well, the other day I tried to type in shill. I don't know if it was into my chat or someone else's chat. I tried. I fucking speak English natively, please God. I tried to type shill into chat, and it was censored by TwitchBot for whatever reason, which was
Yeah,
very
that
weird.
is difficult. I just realized how difficult I made myself by streaming so often. How am I going to get average viewers to 3 if I've streamed a whole 51 hours streamed so far?
It also helps if you stream at a consistent time each week. I wouldn't suggest streaming every single day of the week, though. I tried that the first time and I managed it, but it did get painful after a while. 3 hours
The thing is
every
that, like,
night.
I've been doing this for weeks, actually.
Hmm.
I only recently given myself 2 days off in a row for streaming.
I see.
I used to have only 1 day off for streaming.
That's
And
odd.
the only... And I was like, someone made a post one time, someone I followed, saying, hey, tag yourself if you stream 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week was the max. And I said, pathetic. I stream 6 times a week.
6 is an unholy number, you swine.
Yes,
That makes sense, doesn't it?
666.
I stream 4 times a week. How about them apples?
Pathetic.
No, you.
You are a... I can't say those words, can I? Shit.
No, you cannot.
Why are the Chadley words ruined?
Hero can only take a max of 4 times, though regularly 3. Wow, chicka, wow, wow. I'm kidding. Yeah, I have to max out at 4 now too because I do need time to do other shit that is not streaming, especially since I stream for around 3 hours each time. This is literally
I
part-time.
think the problem is I can't really make it consistent unless I want to dedicate myself to shorter streams, which I'm not a fan of.
How long do you usually stream?
Well, when I am scheduled at to leave at 4 o'clock, I arrive at 5 and I pretty much stream right after I finish dinner. So I stream from 5:30 to 10, typically.
Oh. So, pretty much like me, like myself.
Almost 5 hours.
You stream around 5 hours. I stream from like 5 to 8 because I also need to grab dinner.
Yeah, so it's like, who knows? Maybe to make it more consistent, every stream will just be at 8, and I'll just change the streams to something more palatable for a only 2 hour long stream.
I mean,
And
it's
make
really up to
Saturday
you.
the long boy.
It's pretty much what's important is that people know when you're streaming, basically.
Well, yeah,
Like,
that's my
I used to
problem. It's
do-
like my schedule changes by the week, so
Oh,
it makes it next to impossible to make it consistent unless I make every stream start at 8 o'clock.
you put it that way, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, because I heard the consistency thing. It's like it's really difficult. I love streaming for long periods of time. I have the stamina for it. And the thing is, I don't like making my podcast on the weekends. So
Yeah.
so it's like, well, I would have to I have to only have a 2 hour long podcast, which is like, what information can I derive from somebody in 2 hours? A lot, but not as satisfying as however long they feel like talking for.
I mean, I thought we did pretty well for the first couple hours of tonight's stream, even with the scuff.
Yeah, I personally agree with that. It's just like when it comes to the podcast, I don't like limits unless the limit is set by the guest. You gave 5 to 8. Yep.
Sorry, I gotta take a phone call. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. It seems that I am alone with Lawler's chat. Everyone, I have a question for you. Do you organize your porn folder? Be honest. I'll be opening his stream momentarily. I know he sent me his Twitch thing a second ago.
Boop, bop, beep, 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 beep.
Wow,
Boop.
was it that short?
I mean, it was just a call to confirm that the family is grabbing supper now. So, I need to close this up like now, but so far, Luke, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I really enjoyed our talk today.
I'm glad you did, so did I.
Yeah, this is the closest thing I can get to talking to people offline because I barely make time for myself anymore.
Yeah, there'll be more in the future, I'm sure. And also, Hero, I do apologize that we're closing up here so soon after y'all raided, but thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. I would really appreciate a follow if any of y'all would look. Feel free to look through my previous broadcasts to see if it's the kind of content that you'd be interested in watching on a regular basis, because we do stream regularly Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Yes, we'll be up again tomorrow morning starting at 8 Central Standard Time. Also, feel free to check out Luke Zhao, who is close to reaching affiliate. They just need an average of 3 viewers left, and they'll be as gods along with the rest of us. And Luke, is there anything you'd like to say,
Mm-hmm.
or anything? Feel free to like show yourself too. You know.
Well, in this form, I am currently Tracy Lee, a demon contract enforcer, here to serve your every pleasure and make sure you do not breach the contract of the demon's specifications. Please, if you follow, you get to sign a contract with me and tell me your deepest, darkest desire. But with that said, I would like to thank everyone for watching today's stream. This talk was pretty interesting, actually. I got even more political than Bloody Karma, which was actually impressive. But that is actually always a positive thing, in my opinion. If I can get someone to talk about something personal, I consider that a W. But with that said, I would like to thank all of you for coming here, and I will see you guys. What am I streaming tomorrow? I actually forgot. Who cares? It's gonna be 5 o'clock. See you around. Don't shit yourselves on the way out the door. Later.
And tomorrow